You ready, dog?
All right, I got that started. Just gotta get the Rock fan side up and going.
Hmm. You don't hear that music in the background, right? Or you hear it a little
Uh
bit? Oh,
uh.
okay. Oh, damn. I think. Oh, damn. All right. Well, too late now.
Up. Too late now. What's up? What's too late? You run go grab something?
No, 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 no.
All right,
Check
cool,
the
cool.
chat. Check the chat.
All right. Oh, it's different.
Okay. Ah,
It looks similar, but I changed
got
it
you. Got you. Yeah, what's
because
up,
this.
everybody? It's a
Oh,
Sunday.
go ahead.
Marcus was good. No, I was just saying, what's up to everybody. I know people are gonna they're gonna take their time getting in, so just saying what's up to everybody before we jump into the discussion. um Marcus, we didn't, pardon us for not being on last night. There was a big sporting event on last night. For those who don't follow, we rarely take a Saturday night off, but there was a Canelo fight on last night, so we wanted to watch that. And so we just decided to uh, go live today on a Sunday. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in South Florida. How was it over there out in the
And
city of
LA
Angels?
or Lost Lost Angels. Um, it's actually the weather's pretty nice. I mean, nice and sunny out. Hopefully it's nice where everyone else is at. Nice and pleasant.
Mhm.
Um, Interesting week, definitely. Since Ham's already started, he said Mungia started out well, then Canelo took over. Um, I mean, I kind of figured it was gonna go that way. I told people, I said Canelo's not gonna pick a fight that he doesn't think he's gonna already win. Um, and now what I would like to know is the answer to the question which he's really been ducking. So, what about Benavides?
As far as I'm concerned, Canelo gets on my nerves for, pardon us while we go through our, sports shit, because again, in addition to the politics and, you
and uh
know, things
and
in
happy
world
Cinco de Mayo,
affairs.
Feliz de Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, we do have interests outside of this, you know what I'm saying? And I like to make this point: covering world events, geopolitics, and things. It is very important. It is good that people stay in the know. However, covering this stuff is very heavy, and a lot of the times it's very depressing because there's losses to be found almost everywhere you look. However, with that being said, you still have to find joy in some kind of uh, some kind of outlet, right? So for some people it's music, some people it's sports, some people it's going outside, being active, and all this other shit. Marcus and I were into sports. Some sports more than others, but one thing we both like is boxing. I don't know if Marcus is a Canelo fan though. Me, I'm not.
No, I mean, I really didn't have a dog in the hunt. I mean, I tend to be like kind of
Okay.
neutral on damn near everything, and
Mm,
I look at it. I wanted to see a good fight. I didn't want to see the young kid get cheated. I mean, if I felt like he actually gave Saul a good fight and tussled him up, then I would have gave him the credit. Um, and I felt like the first couple of rounds he did get him.
mm-hmm.
But I knew that was going to be short lived. Once I saw, what was it? I think it was one of those combos where he landed like a overhand left, and that overhand left rocked Canelo back into the ropes, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I was like, watch, yeah, oh, he's not sitting down at all. Oh, this dude, he's hyped up now. He's ready to go. It kind of reminded me of you remember the movie The Great White Hype?
Oh
And
yeah, of course.
and the part where he comes into the ring and he's all overweight, his guts hanging out, and everybody's thinking that Roper's a joke. And then he hits him with that overhand left, and he rocks him back, and he mouths. You see him mouths. You trying to embarrass me, motherfucker? And then it's over with very shortly after. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It's funny how also Hamza is spelling Mungia's name like wrong every single time in the chat, but I know who you're talking about.
I think he spelled it right. I think he spelled it right the first time he had mentioned it. I think. Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. It's a U. Yeah. No, it's missing a letter there. It's missing something there. But he's close.
It's Mungia. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. I was like, I could just listen to phonetically how it's pronounced, and I'm like, it's missing something there. But oh yeah, and to answer, we have seen. I've heard about the Good Times cartoon. I probably will watch it and then do a review commentary on my other channel. But I've heard a lot of negative stuff about it, so I'm like I'm going in like with my guard up on that show.
As far as I go, I haven't watched the Good Times either, but I haven't seen a good review from anybody. I haven't seen a good review, so I won't watch it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I heard somebody out on Twitter said that the father character was having a conversation with the roach inside the shower. So I'm straight.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's probably going to be a very critical. I'll be probably very critical of it. Now, I don't know if like for the Tyson Uysek, difficult name to pronounce, Uysek. I don't know if I'll necessarily.
That's how they've been saying his name, Usyk.
Yeah, it's like, but actually the UYSI, it's like Usyk or something like that. I've heard like actual other people pronounce it a little funnier. But I probably won't watch that one live. I don't need to watch that one live. I kind of know how that's gonna go. Plus, since the heavyweights have kind of gone the way of the Eastern European fighters, it's kind of gotten a little duller. They fight. It's just a different style of boxing.
It definitely is a different style of fighting. But the one thing I will give the Eastern Europeans, as far as boxing goes, they the toughest and they don't run from, the way that they live their life is pretty much the way that they are. The way that they lived over wherever they live in Eastern Europe is kind of like how they fight. They don't duck anything. They don't really have much to say most times, and usually their chin is solid. And they're tough, strong people with a lot of pride. Unfortunately, some of my people, they're concerned with looking pretty and keeping their face nice and their nails nice and their hair nice, instead of actually boxing. So that's why you can find, unfortunately, a lot of these talented black fighters, they do more fighting on Twitter than they actually do in the ring. And that's a sad state. A lot of these guys go back and forth with the Twitter fingers instead of being in the gym preparing to fight each other. So boxing, does have a bit of a problem in that they cannot seem to get their top fighters in these divisions to fight each other at the peak of their games. So there's always some kind of problem. And then, Marcus, you see this whole shit with your boy Ryan Garcia?
Yeah, I'll hop over to that because I wanted to double down on what you were saying. First off, yeah, it seems, and I look at it like, you could put part of it all the way back to somebody like an Ali, but Ali, like he had the flash, but he actually put his time in the gym and put in the work. Then you had somebody up to modern day like a Floyd, who he went with all the flash, but he put the time to put in the work. The difference is some of these younger fighters focused more on the flash, but they're not putting in the work. And I mean, I go back to probably Adrian Broner, who sticks out the most in my mind, who fell into that paradigm of cared more about looking pretty and trying to show off instead of just being a sound good boxer. And no,
I just want real quick. You mentioned Broner, right? If you watch Broner with the sound off, just watching him as a boxer, you would say, God damn, this guy has all the technical abilities to be like
all that athleticism.
He has everything to be one of the greats, but he's too busy focused on all of everything outside of boxing. He wants to look the part. He wants to talk shit. It's like he wants to be an actor, a rapper, and like a ball player instead of a boxer.
And Roy Jones can take a little bit of the blame to that too, because
Roy
created
did it all.
this.
We can't even include Roy. Roy ducked no smoke.
But what I'm not saying he ducked the smoke. All I'm saying is that mentality, and all they saw was the flash that Roy was doing. All they saw was when he's like showboating in the ring, the rapping, the acting. They didn't see how much work that man put in over decades of building a career to be at that level. And only thing that happened with Roy is as he started creeping up in weight classes, as you creep up in weight classes, you lose speed. And Father Time catches up with you also. So combination of loss of speed and getting older, it catches up with you. So I mean that's my take on that.
The mistake Roy made after going up to heavyweight to fight Anthony Ruiz was that his next fight he took at a lower weight, and he did not give himself time to adjust to losing all that weight. So he had to balloon up to fight heavyweight, and then he had to drop down very quickly to take on that next fight with Tarver. And you could see that Roy was not in top physical condition, not for lack of working out, but just for the fact of how he had to lose weight to make this fight. I think if Roy had taken himself 6 to 8 months longer and then scheduled the fight to get back to his regular weight, I think that fight goes a different way. I'm not saying that he still doesn't lose. I'm saying that fight looks different.
Oh, definitely, without doubt.
And Floyd too. The one thing I will say about Floyd, he had 3 character arcs. He had the first guy, I can't remember he was Pretty Boy Floyd at first, knocking everybody out, just being real.
Then he went to Money Mayweather.
And it was him playing the heel actually earned him more money than being the pretty boy, right? Being this guy who was braggadocious, who talked shit, who was very flashy with the money and all this other shit. Obviously that turned him into a quote unquote bad guy. And you know what? For his pockets, that worked well because people, they don't pay to love you, they pay to hate you. So for Floyd's case, he made a lot of money because more people wanted to pay to watch him lose than to actually watch him fight. They just wanted to make sure he lost. And unfortunately for the Floyd haters, that never happened. So
yeah,
but one thing I will say,
Floyd stayed smart about his changing the weight classes and picking fights too. You got to understand your body and don't make it to do things that you shouldn't do. I mean, you got to understand. I know, for instance, when I started, going up in weight, like I felt that like when I boxed in the Navy, going from 168 to 175 is a big difference. It might not sound like it to some people, but it's a big difference moving into light heavy. And if you go up to heavyweight and drop down, you're talking about cutting muscles and you're going to feel a fatigue that you don't really realize that you have. I mean, and also just going up in weight classes, you built certain habits and techniques that you're used to doing, and then all of a sudden you go up in weight class and you don't realize that I can't do the same stuff I did when I was smaller. You don't. One of my favorite fighters, that's what he fell victim of the last like 5-6 years or so of his career, with Yuri Orcus Gamboa. He wasn't nearly as fast anymore, and the reflexes to be able to jump in and out of stuff, and he's just started getting caught with stuff everywhere.
Yep.
And that's why sometimes you might need to stay in them lower weight classes and stay where you belong, or let your body slowly build up and change your style.
Or that's what I was going to say. Give yourself more time in between fights whenever you're jumping, not just one weight class, but if you're jumping 2 weight classes or even going down 2 weight classes, whatever it might be, allow yourself the time. The same thing happened to Sugar Ray Robinson too. His first loss because he was really, out of his class in terms of, he wasn't out of class boxing wise, just weight wise. It really had a big effect on him. But Sugar Ray Robinson is like probably hands down is the most successful, the greatest fighter that we'll ever see. Everybody else can come under him, whether it's Muhammad, Roy, Floyd, Mike, if you want to throw him in there, and, things of that nature. If you want to put De La Hoya up in there, Julio Cesar Chavez, these other fighters. But to me, Sugar Ray,
Carlos Monsoon.
Yeah, he was up there too. There's a lot of good fighters, but
it's a lot of great fighters that I feel remiss if we start putting a list. We'd have to do a whole show on just that alone, because it's so many things to weigh in. But I realize some of our audience, y'all might be casually into boxing. Y'all might not want to go into deep detail. So I'll spare y'all any more boxing talk. But, just felt like, Calzaghe. No, I hate Calzaghe. God.
Look, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Calzaghe, I'm not a hater. He had skills. He possessed skills, and he was a very, very, very good boxer. I'm not going to on him like that. However, I didn't like how he mocked Roy when Roy was 92.
No, I don't like how he beat up my boy Jeff Lacey either.
Yeah, I didn't like how he
did like
Roy.
that. He had to do him like that. Yeah, that was a bad. But man, we might even. Well, that's right. On and I'm gonna jump all over Travius about this. He need to start y'all other channel up, because I want to get over there and talk about this kind of stuff. But
he been on the
Travius
road,
dragging his feet.
I'm gonna text him and curse him out too. But in his defense, though, he has been on the road. He's been out the state. He's been up in New York, Jersey, Delaware.
You might have to take the lead. You might have to take the lead on it.
I might have to do that and then just start it, and then just for me, my generation, Hamza, my favorite boxer is Roy Jones Jr. Easily, hands down. Yeah, I watch Roy fights probably every few months, probably every other month. I'm getting on YouTube and just type in Roy and just watch the same shit that I've watched 100 times over. So yeah, Roy Jones Jr. I've never seen a boxer like that in my life.
Pound for pound, like as far as compiling everything together within this modern time, I would have to agree with Roy. But my favorite fighter to watch of all time, Emmanuel Augustus. Favorite fighter to watch. Most people don't even know who he is. But
is he a southpaw? Was he a southpaw? Oh, okay.
No.
He was, right. Okay.
In fact, pull up Emmanuel Augustus. Oh, keep the sound off, of course, because we don't want to get hit with that. But just pull up Emmanuel Augustus, and so people can see what I'm talking about. Why?
Oh yes, the drunken master. Yes.
He's the most entertaining boxer to watch.
Yes, by far.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's we don't have to pull it up. Just if y'all want to know who he is, look up Drunken Boxer, and that's who it is. Emmanuel Augustus. What up, Thomas? don't know anything about boxing really. Chris A says he doesn't know anything about boxing really. It's all right. I mean, we all got our different hobbies and things that we're into. Boxing's been something that's been definitely, from being a fan my whole life to getting into scrapes growing up to kind of what would be like a little exhibition boxing.
But keep in mind, you and I are born in the era in which boxing was a major event, right? It's not so much. I mean, it still
It's
is a
not the
major
same how it
event,
used to be.
but
It's not even
not
close to the same how it used to be.
Nah,
Where like
it's
everybody would like pay, because there was no way to like pirate it like how people do now. You literally, and I guess this goes into just a little talk of how different the times were. Anything that was pay-per-view, you like had to like, find that one friend who's buying the fight, and then everybody chip in their money to go over and see it. And it was an event. Like everybody shut down everything and go over and see it. And you had like people who weren't even like boxing fans. Typically, for the major fights, everybody would show up, and it was, even if you were just there and you weren't really even watching the fight, it was just a social event to be at. And so, it was just a different time, very different time. But
no, I agree. Moving on from boxing, since we're still early, real quick, since we're in the sports, we'll just call this a little sports segment real quick. I'll give people an update on the NBA playoffs. I'm wearing the blue and orange, for my New York Knicks. We beat the Philadelphia 76ers in 6 games. We're on to the second round. We now play the Indiana Pacers. That series starts tomorrow in New York. So Indiana used to be a big-time rival of the New York Knicks, about 30 years ago, right? But I got the Knicks in 5, right? On the other side of the bracket, the Boston Celtics will now be playing the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers just beat the Orlando Magic about a couple of hours ago today. Their series went 7 games. That was a very good series. Orlando really proved that they're a young team, but you're going to be saying Orlando Magic a lot over the next like 2 to 3 years. You could mark my words on that. They're on the come up. On the west side, we've got Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets. They played last night. Minnesota put the business on Denver. So the champs are down 0-1 against Minnesota, which, a lot of people, that series was interesting because even though the Nuggets are the champs and they just like completely destroyed the Lakers last week, the Minnesota Timberwolves present a much better matchup and have more determination to win than the Lakers did, right? So and then the other West Coast is the other West Coast series is the Oklahoma City Thunder taking on the who the Thunder got? The Dallas Mavericks. So this is a truly like Midwest, middle of the country battle. Me and that one, I'm going OKC all day. SGA, let's go. I can't wait for that too.
Yeah.
So,
like I already told you, that I'll never root for OKC. They can never get
mess with OKC?
Nope.
Damn, because of the state of Oklahoma and everything that they did and the shit that went down there historically, or okay?
No, because my grandparents, my mom's parents, both are from Oklahoma, from literally where I guess that would be what my great grandparents on her side. They're from Black Wall Street, They used to frequent those stomping grounds. Yeah. So, they got pushed out of that area into Northeast Oklahoma. So that's not the issue, although I could be pissed off at that area for many reasons. And Oklahoma City is a little bit away from where Tulsa was at and where all that went on. My problem is the owner promised to move the team to KC and reneged on it, and we built this big giant, beautiful arena for it, and we couldn't get the team. And the fact that the modern rules for basketball come out of Kansas, and we can't even get an NBA team, it's just been a thorn in my side. This just really, really bothered me. I mean, and you think about it, you got KU, which is a basketball powerhouse. You got some of the most loyal fans, and yet we can't get a team. They're gonna put the next team in fucking Vegas and God knows where else. But I guarantee you, we still won't be on that list.
It'll be Vegas and Seattle.
Fuck Seattle.
You know what's ironic though? Seattle is, you would think Seattle's far, far away, but they really love their basketball out there. Just like Kansas. There's certain states you would think that would love football more so, but some of them love basketball. Like Indiana, for instance, they love their basketball in Indiana.
Well, think about it. When the weather gets really crappy outside, all you can do is go to the gym and play ball.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get out there and play some of those other sports when the weather gets bad.
Yeah, you can't play baseball, year round, things like that. Yeah, for sure.
Can't run track, can't go out be a cyclist. You can't do a lot of those sports year round in the Midwest. But one thing you can do is shovel off the driveway and go out to your hoop in the front and shoot around. It's one thing you can do. One thing they definitely do.
I want to address this real quick, Marcus, before we move on from the NBA. Thomas, the Nuggets not going to make it, and the Celtics. The Celtics have a date, I believe, with the New York Knicks. Given that Miami was injured this year and they were able to beat Miami, I feel like Boston only beat Miami this year because of the injuries. I don't see Boston as being that tough. They just. Something about, I know I'm a Yankees fan and a New Yorker, so it's just something about Boston that always rubbed me the wrong way, pause. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't want to see Boston. I'm done. I really don't. I have a feeling the Knicks gonna, take them. The Knicks gonna surprise them in ways that they weren't expecting. The Nuggets are gonna have their hands filled with Minnesota. So,
well, you'll never see me root for a New York or a Boston team. Period. Never in any sport. That's
come
not gonna happen.
To the dark side, Marcus.
It's not gonna happen. How many World Series have y'all probably stolen from us from buying out all our players? No, I'm not doing
Kansas, that. In New York, we used to say thank God for Kansas because that is our farm. That is our farm team. The Royals and the Royals used to be literally, if the Royals got somebody good, you can almost guarantee they was coming to New York.
New York or Boston or LA.
Correct. Yeah, Hamza, he against us, dog. You see that?
I can't root for y'all teams. Nope. It's personal. It's just like I could never root for the A's either. The A's used to be a Kansas City team.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They used to be the Kansas City A's and they became the Oakland A's. I can't root for I'll never root for Sacramento either.
Who, the Kings?
The Kings. They used to be the Kansas City Kings. Nope.
Ooh.
Won't root for y'all either.
Ooh, yo, you just mentioned the Bay Area. That's
No, I don't mess with it. That's why it felt so good to beat up on y'all Niners.
Oh, on the 49ers?
Mm-hmm. That felt so nice. 2 Super Bowls. Mm-hmm. Enjoy it, Bay Area.
Thomas, that is a topic we do not bring up on this program. The year 2004 does not exist. We don't talk about that. My timeline goes 2003, 2005, 6, 7, 8, but 2004 we do not discuss. I don't even remember 2004. There was nothing.
Thanks for reminding us of that, Thomas. We're definitely going to remind him of 2004. What a great year.
Yeah, fuck off, all of you.
Oh, well, Lady Alex, you came in at the perfect time because we were just wrapping up on sports talk, and we're about
Yeah,
to move
Alex,
into
just
a
stay
couple
with
other
us.
issues. But yeah,
Yeah,
we
Alex,
just kind of had to
just
get, we just had to talk a little bit of sports and kind of let people file in here, and you know that's all we got our sports out of our system right now. But
oh,
yeah, yep.
um, the other big topic before we get into like real serious life altering, life taking, more serious topics. You brought up the Bay Area, and I just wanted to say I wanted to put this actually in the title so we could get more people in here too, because I don't know how much our audience is into rap and hip hop, but this Drake and Kendrick Lamar shit is taking over the net. It is. As a hip hop fan, I'm telling you, I love this energy. It's been so long.
She said, almost done with the workday popping in. Well, I'm glad that you could definitely do that. Man, I wish I knew how to do a poll like some of these people be doing. They be doing polls in the live. I would set up like a
Oh
poll in
yeah,
there. See
right.
how many of y'all are following this. I don't know. Wait a minute. I think I can figure this. Let me see.
I
So
know
you
Hamza.
can
I
go
know
ahead and talk
Hamza.
about it.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Oh, okay. Last time I saw Rampage, it looked like he had gained weight. So probably from the last time I saw him to now, he probably did. But Kendrick Lamar has been going at the Canadian as if the Canadian stole money from him, hurt his family, cursed his mother, killed his father, you know, whatever. But Kendrick Lamar has been on a tear. He is destroying Drake. And he put out a song last night called They're Not Like Us. I think Kendrick Lamar just united the entire West Coast hip hop scene because they have clips from clubs in Los Angeles from last night that were playing Drake records that normally work and the crowd is booing Drake records. I've never seen a spot full of women booing Drake records ever until last night. So, all right, Alex, tune into us.
We appreciate you swinging
Later
by.
on to get the rest of it. Thanks for coming through. But anyway, no, Kendrick Lamar is surgically destroying the artist known as Drake. Marcus, you ever heard Drake say on record, Drake stands for do right and kill everything?
Mm-mm.
That's what Kendrick, I mean, excuse me, that's what Drake said in the song. He's like, Drake stands for do right and kill everything. What did they say? Don't rap against. Oh, they now said the new acronym for Drake is don't rap against Kendrick ever.
Mm.
Yo, Marcus, let me tell you, he has come at this dude in every single way. It's bad for the Toronto kids. He's calling them
What's been
pedophile.
Yeah, that's been the more that's part of the probably the point that I want to like probably talk about a little because like if some of the stuff he's saying is true in that regards, there might need to be more scrutiny looked into it than just kind of insults over music. If this dude got like some messing with underage girls kind of thing going on, it might warrant some investigations to see what's going on, even if it was just stuff in the past or if he's currently doing stuff like that, because people who tend to have those types of tendencies, it's not a once over. It tends to be kind of a chronic kind of thing. So does he have a tendency for young girls bordering under the age of 18? That's a real question to ask.
Marcus, I'm a man. There's no reason if okay, I don't know what the age of consent is here. I think it's 17, right? Let's just say. I'm not talking to an 18-year-old. Okay, I'm in my 40s, so let me rewind and put myself at 25 years old. If the age of consent is 17 and I'm 25, I'm not interested in an 18-year-old. What are you doing talking? What are you doing being in your late 20s talking to a 17-year-old? You're on stage with a microphone saying to this girl who's young, like, God damn, you thick and you only 17, but you know, the way you hugged up against me and your breast pressed against my chest. Oh, like you said this on stage at, you know, during a show. Yo, that's mad creep. That's
Especially when you
nasty
got
work.
especially you got a whole arena full of women who would like, beat the hell out of each other to get you. A shout out to what happened at Bad Bunny's concert. But I don't know if y'all saw the videos. A couple of chicks who was going ham beating the shit out of each other, but
Yeah,
that's all I was
but I'm just
referencing. But you got a bunch of women who, and it's like the R. Kelly thing again too. It reminds me of like you got plenty of women all over the world who like literally fantasize about you all the time, and you want an underage child. I don't care
or
how
somebody.
great you might think she might look or how adult you might think she might look. There are adult women that you can find.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, that's very foreign to me because I'm not you know, in my personal life, I'm not in my life, I'm not into young I'm not into young women. I'm not. You know, if I meet a girl and she tell me she's 28, 29, I'm not interested. That's even too young for me. Completely legal. She's fully an adult. I'm just saying for me, 28, 29, I have no interest in that age bracket. I want somebody closer to my age group. That is just me. I know a lot of people do like them young, whatever, but I can't understand. I can't understand that. You know what I'm saying? I just can't.
Well, and
Um,
another thing that I think that people should look into because um he was bringing up how he was a gatekeeper to certain things, and I just wonder how far are things going to be taken with this and what, because you never know if somebody is telling everything that they know about the situation, or they just throwing out things which they are hinting at that are possibilities. And he was talking about Drake being a gatekeeper in a sense, and gatekeeper into different illicit activities. What kind of activities are we talking about here? Because he didn't
well,
specify. But
well,
what else?
Kendrick.
Is it more than just underage girls? What's going on here?
Um, Kendrick, he talked about Drake's homeboys who are pedo or no, I don't want to say pedophiles, but you know, he talked about his homeboys who have at least some legal issues with, you know, younger girls. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
I find
I'm,
that,
I'm
you
I'm
know,
I'm sure Suge knew a lot about a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's kind of like content creators who kind of all know each other. We hear stuff that some of the people who listen to us may not know or may not hear. Occasionally, sometimes it spills over, and somebody who might know some of the tea will hop on a live stream and start saying stuff in the chat, and then questions start getting asked.
yeah, correct.
But
You know, we experienced that here.
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying it does
I
happen.
know
So,
we experienced that, you know, and you know, scrubs like that only last for so long. You know what I'm saying?
well, I
You
mean,
can't.
another one. Some like we even on our own show, some of the behind the scenes issues that we were having on this program with other former co-hosts, and some of that got aired out later on, and sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
might catch a live stream and you'll be like, wait a minute, are they saying what I think they're saying? Am I hearing what I'm
Mm-hmm.
and so hot mics happen, all kind of those things. You do this long enough, everything doesn't stay completely on topic, but in those industries, I guarantee you, they hear dirt with each other too.
Mhm.
There's no way, because when you get into any type of community, even if you're not like close with the person, you hear stuff about each other that doesn't always hit the scenes. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
What up,
That's a
Soul?
fact. Uh, Thomas, what do you say? Some of the, let me see.
All right, I'll put it on the
What
screen.
do
Oh,
you say?
got it.
Some of the mainstream corporate, you know, Thomas, that would be the case if the majority of the consuming audience is calling for that, but they're not, right? The 17, 18-year olds of today are, again, I really think because these kids don't have to read, they've never read, they don't have a great, their vocabulary isn't as extensive as ours. They don't know, there's a lot of things that they don't know. So if you were to really have an intelligent rapper a la a Nas or something like that drop today, they would be considered boring rappers and that they don't turn up. Because when you listen to rap today, you don't need a dictionary and you don't need to press rewind. Whereas in my day,
Yeah,
you needed a dictionary. You needed a dictionary. You needed to know about pop culture, history, and things of that nature because the lines were referenced with these things. And whenever you don't read books and you don't expand your vocabulary, you're easily turned on by jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and that sounds that's popping to you.
yeah. I mean, perfect example. I remember in some Pac songs, he would throw in like prosecutors and stuff, and DA people be like, who the hell is this person? So not even if you were kind of plugged in to understanding some of these things, if you didn't know that area where they live and where they're dealing with different cases and trials, you don't even, you're like, who is this and what is he talking about? And so you had to actually like really study up on what the hell somebody's talking about. Now, the most we have to study up on now is they come up with these in different terms. Well, actually, they're not even coming up with new terms. They're recycling and borrowing other terms and just repurposing them now. I mean,
Yes.
like one of the ones which bothers me the most is when people talk about the
Couple,
ops. They use ops for everything now.
yeah,
And I'm
everybody's the
like,
ops.
everybody's the ops. And I'm like, in the military, that ops is like, it really means something. What up, cuz? Oh yeah. By the way, I appreciate you helping my mom's the other day. She's telling me that you've been helping her a whole lot moving. So big shout out to you, cuz. Big shout out.
Yeah,
Um,
so and again, even the you had artists and the artists themselves were allowed to be expansive, right? They could make some real ignorant hood shit and then they could turn around and make some shit that make you really sit around and think like, damn, that was like,
mhm.
that was some real serious shit I should really sit and think about, right? And the
Yo,
diversity,
perfect example. Brenda got a baby.
yeah, or even what's the song with that MC
What was
Light
that?
had, Georgie Porgy.
Remember Georgie
Like
Porgy, or that
the
song the
problem
Lost
with
Boys
drinking,
had about old girl on the train?
Renee.
Yeah, Renee. Yeah.
Yep. You had these songs that, they challenge your brain or they made you paint the picture in your head. Today it's literally let's give up, let's let's smoke, let's drink, let's you know what I'm saying? That's it. There's
I'm out here
no
in Miami.
correct. I'm looking for my
Yeah.
baby daddy.
Yeah, just yeah.
Yo, Marcus, Marcus, Kendrick told Drake, when I see you and Sexy Red, I believe you see two bad bitches. Yo, I died laughing when I heard that. I was like, yo, he called this guy a bad bitch. Um, but again, we had diversity from the artists themselves and the money that they Oh, he said Devin the Dude. Oh man, you know what Devin the
That's
Dude is
bringing
all
back a
about.
name, boy. That's bringing back, yeah. Ain't heard of Devin
Shit.
the Dude in a minute.
Yeah, you know Devin the Dude. Um, even and I ask all my people this all the time. What he say? Most Def says Drake music is pop and compatible with shopping at Target, and he apologized for saying that. I didn't like how the people, they got upset at
Yeah,
Most for
why?
saying that.
But see, my thing is, when it come down to it, most of these rappers really only care about the money, right? If you only care about the money,
Fact.
then why do you care how people label you if you got the street cred? You know you don't have the street cred and you've never had the street cred. So why try to pretend and fight as if you have it? Be like, oh
Correct.
well, I became a billionaire doing what I do over here, so hate me if you like, Go, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, or as Diddy would say, you can hate me now.
Mm. Mm-hmm. That is
That's what I would say. I mean, I'll just pull out my wallet and smash you with it.
and that's all it is. Now, for what I find funny is that Kendrick is actually a dynamic artist. If you go and listen to Kendrick Lamar, he's got all kind of shit within his music catalog, right? He's truly one of the you could take Kendrick from 2024 and you can put Kendrick in 97. You could probably even put
Mhm.
Kendrick in 87. He's an artist, he's aware. He's not a
87, he'd
dumb
have been
guy.
too ahead. He'd have been too advanced in 87.
Yeah, correct. He would have been too advanced.
Maybe 89, 90.
But I'm just saying, in terms of even the not so much his flow, but the content, right? The fact that he is able to make some party shit and then he's gonna get back and talk about the history. Perfect example. And one of this in the song that Drake released Saturday night, Family Matters, he said, and this was supposed to be a diss to Kendrick. He said, "Yo, you rap like you trying to free the slaves."
In which, when Chris was telling me about that, I was like, that's a compliment, right? Because even if you're not looking at it from like the traditional, like black people, descendants of slaves, many people will look at in this society right now, most of us are under some form of servitude. I mean, isn't that what most of y'all feel like going into work? I know that's what I feel like a lot of times. So is that wrong that this dude is speaking about trying to free people?
Yeah, so
No,
he said
it's pretty telling
he
on Drake.
correct. And then with that, Kendrick took that, and what did he say? He said, "Yo, our people used to be in chains, and here we go in 2024. This nigga's cracking jokes about being slaves or something like that, right?" And it just goes to show how clueless homeboy from Canada really is. You know what I mean? And then what did Kendrick do? He started talking about what was going on in Atlanta and how the colonizers came. So he said to Drake, he said, "You're not a colleague, you're a colonizer." Yo, dog, he was going at the jugular at this dude, and it's all facts. If you look at Drake, he is an actor, rapper, cosplayer. He's what the girls would call cute. He's light skinned. His mother's Jewish. He's from Canada. He's not American. He's not a threat to the system. He's not trying to educate or empower people. He just makes feel good music that the labels can constantly put out there. It doesn't require much thought. You don't ever have to press a rewind button with Drake. He just makes feel good music. Look again, I have older family members who are in their 60s. They're not really of the hip hop generation and shit like that, but we go to parties, they be like, play the Drake. Again, rappers are supposed to be a little bit on edge. So for a woman who would really consider herself a 60 or 70-year-old white woman to say play some Drake, that just tells you what category Drake is really in. She didn't say play some Pac. She didn't say play Kendrick. She didn't say play any of the newer acts of today. She said play Drake. Why is that? Because he's got all the songs that them people like. You understand what I'm saying? It's not actually, he not, And Ruby, I'm not judging whether Drake is attractive or not. I'm just saying like there are women who really, these chicks out here really do like him. You know,
Yeah, I'll let
if
y'all.
I
I'll let y'all women decide that.
yeah, correct.
I'm
But I'm
yeah.
not going to sit here in front like I don't see the reaction to the women. And, look, I'll shoot Drake a tiny bit of bail here. Some of these guys got problems with him because he been the women they like, the women they're interested in, the women they're with. So on some level, it is a little bit of hating
See,
on
this
Drake
is
because
this is when we need a sound machine. This is when we need a
yeah,
sound machine.
correct.
I'll play that what is it? That Trillville song. Some cut. Hear
In
the
fact,
springs, the springs bouncing
that
up and down.
I know what you're talking. Give me your number and I'll
And I'll
call. Yeah,
call.
yeah. That's the one. But no, quite honestly, some of the dudes they really have an issue with Drake because he's smashed some of their chicks. You know what I mean? But anyway, as we get off this topic, I just wanted to say at least Kendrick Lamar is really showing him what an MC, a real rapper, is supposed to look like and what they're supposed to sound like.
Yeah,
What Chris
it's
say?
yeah. Chris A says at the Political Matrix,
Oh,
most black people in Canada are from the Caribbean. All the Caribbean islands were slave plantations, so it's real odd for Drake to say in Canada white supremacy is not as fierce. Also, I would add the black people who a lot of the ones who aren't from the Caribbean, many of the black people who ended up Canada were fleeing the US. They
correct.
flee because they were like, yo, I'm running from the south. Shit's still bad. I made it to the north. Shit is still bad. So let me creep into Canada. And that's what was his name? Benjamin O. Davis, who taught the Tuskegee Airmen. He had to go to Canada, and then he went over to the UK, and from the Canada and UK is where he got most of his education and his pilot's license, and that's how he was able to be a black pilot and be able to teach the Tuskegee Airmen. So Canada is uh now the racism that Canada mostly focuses on, I would say, is on First Nations people.
Yes,
That's where
that's who they
it
don't
look.
like.
That's where it's they white supremacy and
They don't
racism
mind.
is way worse on the
Yeah,
native population than it
they
is
don't
on black
mind
people.
the. Yeah, they don't mind the African immigrant migrant. You know what I'm saying? They don't
Hmm.
like the native population who was there
Yep.
prior to the Europeans.
Yeah. And that animosity they have is palpable. I mean, and also you could tell that it runs deep. You know how many what was it maybe about a year or so ago when we were covering some of those stories about some of the native remains that were being found at these boarding schools, many of them being in Canada. um that's what you were starting to find, that though it was happening
Mm-hmm.
all through the United States and Canada, it was a lot. It was really happening bad in Canada. How many of these boarding schools where they were killing native kids?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, game.film. Definitely look up Emmanuel Augustus. He's a very entertaining fighter. And while you at it, throw in James Toney, the slickster himself. He'll throw you off, especially in his later part of his career when he was heavy and still able to be pretty mean with the gloves. But
Mm-hmm.
Chris, in our research folder, could you bring up that Instagram one that Atra sent us? I want to
Oh
show
yeah.
that because it's not that this is something that is brand new. I guarantee you y'all definitely know about this, but it just seems like this is being ramped up more and more, and it was something that I feel, with the whole Cop City stuff that people were talking about, this is something that they definitely need to look into, because now they're getting more and more advanced with what they're doing. I mean, you look all the way back to, and I'm talking about surveillance. You go all the way back to a show like The Wire, and they were showing you how they were trying to knock out the cameras or block the cameras so that they can go and continue to do dirt. So it shows that there was always these cameras in different cities. And you look at that case that we talked about with who was covering it? Why am I blanking on her name? Allie was covering out of Chicago about that missing woman, and people were banging on the doors trying to find this woman and all that. And you saw that there were cameras within, like, showing the neighborhood, and that's how they were able to track down the man who was like holding people and taking people captive and stuff like that in some of these abandoned homes in the Chicago area. And that'll be, I guarantee, some of the reasoning which they'll use to justify all this additional surveillance stuff that they're putting out. But now that there's actual evidence and they're actually talking about this stuff like out in the open with everybody, and putting it on the record, it takes it out of the realm of, oh, we found this story and we're piecing stuff together, and it lays it out plain upon tables. That way, when you're talking to your family who they've always thought you were crazy, when you start talking about these different things, now you're able to show them, no, boom, look right here. This is them admitting what we've been talking about. What are y'all saying in the chat? Let's see. Yeah, the Prime Minister.
Wait, which one was it, Marcus? The Instagram, the Black Alchemy one?
Yeah, that one. Is that Yona in the chat? What up, Yona?
Yona, what's good? I ain't seen Yona in a minute. Yona, what's up, man?
Yes, Canada wanted to erase the native people. Yes, they have. I mean,
yeah, you don't even have to know too much, but you just, if you're paying a little bit of attention, you know that Canada has a long time had an issue with their native population. They hate them. They hate them the way that their neighbor to the south hates people like Marcus and myself.
I won't say all of them. I ain't gonna put them like that.
I ain't saying all, but I'm,
because we got one of our friends right here who definitely has love for us.
2 cameras, 2 audio sensors, edge processing capabilities, which is really great and allows you to do a lot more than just kind of sending full video files back.
Fact of the matter is, that's not really new technology. Most of you that can look at your skyline already has cameras, ALPR, automatic license plate recognizers, and all types of other AI-infused technology picking up on your digital identity wherever you go. That's why I always keep myself covered and make sure I have a vigilant watch of wherever I am. You have a great, fantastic, blessed, and abundant day. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, run that one more. Yeah, let it go through one more.
The sensors can record outdoor temperature, capture pedestrian and vehicle movement, and record audio and video.
Metro 2 flew over the Thomasville Heights neighborhood.
So the device attaches very nicely to the light, and it's blends in quite nicely. And it's got 2 cameras, 2 audio sensors, edge processing capabilities, which is really great and allows you to do a lot more than just kind of sending full video files back.
Fact of the matter is, that's not really new technology. Most of you that can look at your skyline already has cameras, ALPR, automatic license plate recognizers, and all types of other AI-infused technology picking up on your digital identity wherever you go. That's why I always keep myself covered and make sure I have a vigilant watch of wherever I am. You have a great, fantastic, blessed, and abundant day. Oh.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about with the camera stuff. Oh, go on there, Chris.
No, I just wanted to say to that, again, there's not much you can do, but the only thing that tells me is that crime is not on the increase. I mean, despite all the videos of people running out of Walgreens and CVS's and malls with clothes and things of that nature, it does not look nor feel like crime is on the rise in such a way that you would need to protect yourself. With the city would need to step up surveillance efforts in this matter, right? This tells us that the government is fully aware of what they are doing. They're fully aware that the citizens know that their governments are working against them openly. The government is fully aware that they are hostile towards their citizens. So again, this is more like defense measures for them in case the people decide to really organize and decide to do anything on any kind of level. They want to make sure that they're fully plugged in at every level, from the street level to up the ladder, if you will. This is not about protecting the ordinary citizens against criminals in society. This is groundwork for the people actually getting frustrated and possibly rising up against their government, at least on some mass protests, not mass violence, mass protest shit. They want to be able to then find out exactly who everybody is, and they'll come for you like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's great that you brought that up, because that goes into what I was talking about with the Cop City shit. This is what they got to get these cameras up so they can get more intel to try to get ahead of people before movements start arising to push back and protest. And not only is Cop City, you got plenty of different outlets like this, which you have all over the place. Think about that one guy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but last year he was getting beat by the black officers. And when you start looking back, even like right now on BMF, they're talking about the Red Dogs that they had. In the Detroit area, you're seeing that they had a unit. Out here in LA, I know for a fact in that same time period you have what's called the crash units. And so there's always been these little like small vigilante forces working within the police departments, which are basically cops who act like vigilantes. And they're knowing, okay, that's it. We don't have the crime problem as far as the gangs and stuff like it used to be. We don't have like the massive drug dealers all over the place, so we can't use that. So if that's not the reasoning for why they're doing why they're creating these, basically like militias of cops and this heavy crackdowns, what you're seeing, you got to ask yourself, why is it just more and more funding going on? And no matter how much on Twitter you see these right wingers showing videos of people breaking into stores and running around, which, by the way, just recently, they did release some kind of press conference on there's like this. I think I'm trying to remember, were they Mormons? Did you hear that story, Chris? I think they were Mormons who were funding the rings of people who were breaking into the stores.
Oh no, I didn't hear that.
I don't know. I have to try to see if I can find it, but it was this white couple who was behind a lot of these rings of people breaking into all these stores. So I knew the way it was happening, it had to be organized. Somebody was up to it.
No. I just like that comment. I just like that because if this person said, I just don't know who's the hardest right now. Anthony Edwards, Ant-Man, who plays for the Timberwolves, or Kendrick. That's fire. I like that. Anyway, go ahead, get back to it, Marcus. Sorry.
No, but what we're seeing, and this will dovetail into what's going on with the campuses and stuff like that. This continual police crackdown, and I wonder, at what point is this going to be enough for those on the right to start looking at police response and start saying, "Oh shit, well maybe it wasn't. They were just so violent." Because what they always do is they go to the Black Lives Matter protesters, or the Black Lives Matter riots. That's what they always go to. Even when you look up the statistics, and statistics show that 97% of them were nonviolent. And then you got to wonder, okay, out of that 3% which were considered violent, how much of that was sparked by agitators? How much of that was the police or somebody randomly dropping off bricks? How much of that was put in there to make it look, bad? Now, I'm not saying that there weren't some people who within the Black Lives Matter protests who had bad intentions, who were like, yeah, let's just go tear up some shit just because we can. But how much of that was agitators? When it comes to the right, they always believe it's the feds are always involved. It's always the feds who are doing this. It's the feds who really did the violence. It's the feds who are pushing the violence. But when it comes to Black Lives Matter, no, that's just a bunch of black people rioting and the left and Antifa rioting. And then when it comes to these college protests, I see people rushing to, oh, this is George Soros pushed. And I'm like, are we that lazy that y'all really think that George Soros is the big bad guy who's doing everything? When I just heard not too long ago, you can look up people like Jerry Seinfeld was funding some of these anti-Palestine protests. There's plenty of Zionists that are getting involved and putting up money. Bill Ackman, that's another one who was putting up money. This is not all just some George Soros stuff. There are a lot of Zionists out there and a lot of Zionists with money out there. So getting bogged down on making this one guy now, I'm not even saying that he's not funding some too, but this mentality of he's the guy to go to. For one, it's lazy, and for two, it prevents from actually going after some of the people who are really the problem also. And it almost seems as if somebody is throwing out the George Soros angle to protect the other people who can be touched. Because George Soros is somebody, y'all can blame it on him all you want. You can blame it on the Bill Gateses all you want. You're not getting close enough to touch any of them. But there are people who are involved who probably could be touched, who could be harmed. And no light is getting shed on them. And I just happen to wonder why.
There's a lot of propaganda going out, and I just put in the chat that I would love for someone who considers themselves right wing or really super duper conservative, not on some Trump shit or whatever. Just somebody who really considers themselves right wing and conservative. I want them to come on because I want to really tell them how stupid they are. And you can say, damn, Chris, that's mad harsh. But you know what? At the times we're in, I don't have time to mince or mix or to be nice. They're really the dumbest and weakest link. Everything is George Soros, as Marcus said. Everything is false flag, except for whenever it comes to them. There's no racism, except for racism against white people, especially the white man now. They really are the dumbest motherfuckers. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. And what did they tell me? I brought up, and Marcus will delve into this later. I brought up the fact that the House of Representatives was passing that law to ban anti-Semitism, right? So I brought this up to somebody, and they told me, and this is a purely right-wing person who loves Trump, who hates liberals, hates Democrats. So I said, damn, you don't think that was a little bit much by the House of Representatives? The response I got was this. The Jews have had a hard time everywhere they go. They're hated everywhere, so it's about time somebody did something to protect them. This was not a Jewish person saying this. I repeat, they said they have it hard. And keep in mind, they're talking to a black person, telling a black person. This is why I say they're the dumbest, weakest link in the entire country. Liberals are right above them, but the conservative, right-wing, average person, Trump supporter, like who thinks Trump is different, they are really the weakest link. You can sell them people beachfront property in Montana. You know what I'm saying? You really can beat these people into anything. I'm just trying to think of the next coolest invention that I could really beat them in the head and sell shit so we can get some money. And then me and Marcus will just, I'll break Marcus off for some cash and then we'll really be like on the run or some shit. Because, oh my God, the stupidity within that group is fucking, it's beyond my mind. This is the same group that is just now learning. This is the same group that's just now learning that Zionism is a thing, and that maybe they have a problem with Christianity, or at least certain tenets of Christianity. They're just learning this. They're watching college campuses saying, "Oh, none of those protests are legitimate. It's all just George Soros funded." Okay, cool.
Well,
Gotcha.
mm-hmm. The problem which they don't think about is they play you on your ignorance. They know how much of a hatred that you guys have for anything like center left, and past that. Anything that even has a hint of anything close to left, it's the most far left, crazy socialist communist ever. That's what they say.
Streets.
What up, streets? Everything is the most far left. Everything. And it's like, no, correct. Motherfucker, you are so far right wing. I mean, think about it. In America, the right wing is literally the furthest right of anybody in the world. I mean, you're like literally inches from being an outright fascist. That's how far right y'all already are. But y'all think that it's everybody else is far left. You're the one that keep moving further and further away and then say, why you all the way over there? No, bitch, it's you that's moving. Mm-hmm. And part of it goes because of the way they listen to the people on the right. They really do move like a lynch mob. When they try to act like the left is this homogenous zone, which they do kind of what Zionists do, a lot of projection. Everything that they see over there, they say it's the other side. Oh, they all move like a mob. They all act the same way. When the right is the one who pretty much move almost exactly the same way. Look at any different topic. You can pick a libertarian. You can pick a so-called rhino. You can pick a conservative. All of them are going to come down the same way on majority of the shit.
Marcus,
There's
you know what?
Very little difference between any of them, but they think that they're so diverse.
Marcus, here's the other thing, right? So as I said, we have this great awakening in the right, where they are realizing about Zionism, right? But at the same time, they want Donald Trump, ignoring the fact that the Kushner family is like this with the Netanyahu family. Matter of fact, if you remember when Trump first took office and Netanyahu was speaking about Jared Kushner, he said, I've known you since you've been this big. I know your family. I know Jared. He's making all these stupid jokes and shit like that. And they really think that everything they're having this awakening about Zionism, but they're going to vote for Trump and they're going to vote Republican down ticket. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, they really haven't learned anything. They just want to stick it to the left. It doesn't even matter if they're also sticking themselves at the same time, which is why I say they are the weakest link. Only right above them are liberals. Liberals showed their stupidity on COVID when the right wing was a little bit saying, hey, look at Fauci and the rest of them. They kind of funny money, etc., etc. The left wing was the one telling me that I'm stupid because I didn't want to wear a mask and because I wasn't scared and because I wasn't running around like being around grandma was going to kill her, right? The left and the liberals showed their utter stupidity and trust in government for the whole COVID shit. For that, I will never forgive them or forget that. They were fucking morons. Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. You can say that, damn, you being harsh on them, hindsight is 2020. Nah, in the moment, my shit was 2020.
Well, so what it is
I don't have no grace. I don't have no grace or patience for people who refuse to listen because information came from somebody that they don't like.
Well, what happened is it went from the left and liberals being separate, and the left would hold their nose and vote for liberals when they had to now accepting the information from liberals as gospel also. Whereas they used to just be like, nah, you motherfuckers are full of shit. I hate them a whole lot more than I hate y'all. So I'll hold my nose and vote for you because I have to. Now they're not questioning the liberals anymore. They're not questioning the CNNs, the MSNBCs. They're not questioning, the stuff that, like, for instance, what was it? PBS. They're not questioning the PBSs and Vice News and all that. Like, y'all don't think that they're corrupted at this point also? And that's what's happened. They've started buying into the same crap that comes out of the liberals' mouths. Now, they might react to it a little bit different. But the thing is that before, I wouldn't say Bernie Sanders, before Bernie ran, where there was that questioning of it, that criticalness of it, a lot of that has fell away. It's in COVID especially exposed that. Also, Ukraine exposed that with a lot of these people. But the thing is, a lot of them,
and Marcus,
they're all following the established narrative. Whether you're on the so-called right or the left, there's only handfuls that are bulking all of it.
And Marcus, it's funny you mentioned Ukraine, because they would call themselves, the right wing would call themselves, on the right side for opposing all of the money going to Ukraine, right? But then you know what they're doing, saying, no, we don't need to spend it on Ukraine. We need to spend it on fighting China. So again, the stupidity knows no bounds. It knows no bounds. This is why I always say, take care of your own. For people like us, Marcus, who see the bullshit everywhere, how we just lump all of them in the same thing, as we should. That's why we don't need to make friends with these people. We tried to educate them on COVID, and look how they treat it. I don't mean that you and I are some, high level people and like that. But I'm just saying, through our program, we like, yo, dog, this just seem kind of funny money, dog. You should really question it. If you mention Monsanto to a liberal or a leftist, they would get it. Oh, yeah, Monsanto is bad, right? We get what the chemicals and da-da-da-da-da. But then Pfizer, trust them.
Yeah. Well, and that's Gregory over on the Rock Fan. No, we're not on Sundays now. We just hopped on. We took the night off because of the fight, and so we're doing it today. But yeah, I saw a weird comment. I'm like, so I guess we got some funny money people in here. This person said feds are going to be picking candidates from a bunch of Hamas supporters and the frat boys. What reality are you? What I'm saying is, what reality is this person living in? Every political candidate is, if you're not on your knees for Zionism, you don't have a chance of getting elected. So the stupidity of that comment just distracted me. My bad. I don't know. Are you serious? They just passed a damn. They just passed.
I don't know if that was sarcasm.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think this is some infiltrator trying to come into our shit and get on my nerves.
Yeah, that's why you gotta, you gotta use humor, right? They said feds are gonna be here. Let's just put it up. Let's just make them famous. Fuck it, I don't care. Feds are gonna be picking candidates from a bunch of Hamas supporters and not frat boys. I don't know if that was sarcasm or what, but the only thing I will say is, clearly there's an organization, maybe people have not heard of it, it's called AIPAC. They spend a few dollars every cycle to get but a small amount of candidates on their side, right? They only spend probably about $100,000 a year on political candidates to get them on their side. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, and if you're still in here, whoever put that in here, Fern or whatever, we would love for you to clarify if that was sarcasm or if you really are that mentally slow in the head. I mean, because I've been seeing like the person who's been probably irritating me the most in the media is Pierce Morgan. How his framing of everything. I mean, he might as well just be like, I care about Israelis. Like, if one Israeli is harmed, to me that means more than 50, Palestinians. He might as well just cover it that way, because every show it's about his mindset is, how is Israel being treated? First and foremost, how is Israel being treated? Be damned how many babies get killed. And he always brings up October 7th. October 7th has been over how long ago?
That's almost 6 months, right?
What, 7 months? But going on probably 8 months.
Oh yeah, 7. Yeah.
Rehashing October 7th over and over and over is not going to change a damn thing.
There we go, game.
What? Oh, that's a good one. I mean, that new Speaker of the House, gosh.
Johnson, is it Anthony hard. Johnson or what's his name?
I'm not even gonna take the time to learn his name, because I know he ain't gonna be Speaker long.
Yeah, correct.
Whether it's through them trying to oust him, or they end up losing the seats, or something comes around. When you're this much, and this is why I title the show, why are they showing their cards? Right now, I feel like the Zionists and Israeli government are really like, yo, you're getting a little bit of pushback. If you didn't want people to have this narrative of that you guys have all this power and control, stop showing all this power and control. You are literally showing everybody you can shut down shit whenever you want to. All these protests across the country, you can get all the police and everything to jump on your side. You can have Zionists run in there and attack people and not get arrested. You're having the United States go to the ICC and tell them, trying to throw up interference against any kind of like possible arrest, which they never really arrest anybody any damn way. No. But that threat, they don't even want the threat of it being out there, even though, and what this shows me is, if Zionists get a little bit of pressure on them, or even get a little bit of pushback, their reaction is go to the max on everything. If you're like, I don't really like what you did there. Okay, you need to die. It's like everything is the max overreaction. That's what I noticed. How they've handled these protests, how they've noticed free speech, how they've handled free speech, how it's handled. Hamza says he's planning for it. I mean, who would you say is planning for it?
Marcus, Thomas mentioned Cornel West, right? And Cornel West is somebody who makes me think of the Batman line, right? Die, you be the hero, or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Become the villain, yeah.
And Cornel West, dog, I'm not gonna completely shit on you, but Cornel, just stop running, shut everything down, and leave it alone. Because you sound really goofy out here, old man. You sound really, really bad. You sound like somebody who's trying to play both sides nice guy. I want to take care of my Zionist, my Jewish brothers and sisters, and then yo.
Well, he haven't been on that tip lately. Honestly, he haven't been on that tip lately.
But either or, he's wasting time, and
Agreed.
Cornel West should have long ago gotten out of that whole Princeton world and chose to educate people in the hood. But he liked the salary from Princeton. He liked the access it gave him. So he stayed where he did. I'm not knocking him for making a living. I am going to knock you for not touching the people as much as you should have. Because you stayed in this, these people in academia, they stay in academia as if the people who are in academia at the moment aren't going corporate the moment they leave academia. They're not coming back into the neighborhoods to work. They're going
Why you not at
corporate
Grambling? Why why you not at like a Grambling or a Southern or I mean, there's so many other places that you could be going. A Spelman. Why are you not somewhere else where if you care that much, especially about Black people in the Black community, why are you not going to an institution where you can actually help more of the people on the educational front, where in a way that it can actually matter?
Correct. He's at Harvard. He's at Harvard beefing with Larry Summers as if he's going to win some kind of, as if he's going to win some kind of battle at Harvard against Larry Summers. I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous that Cornel West is now probably closer to his 70s. I don't know how old Cornel is, but again, at the same time, he's just wasted the last 2 decades of his life. Again, staying places, talking to people who are like, wow, he really makes me feel good and he's really educating me as they go work in corporate America. He's having no impact. He doesn't come to where he's supposed to be. He's from Chicago, right? He's supposed to be in Chicago helping to get Chicago on his good foot. However, he doesn't do that. So this is why I have my criticisms of Cornel the same way Dr. Shiva. Dr. Shiva is another one. I see Hamza keep mentioning him. Shiva is good at promoting Dr. Shiva. He is not good at doing anything else. He's not good at building coalitions. You don't see him in the neighborhood. You don't see Shiva doing anything but promoting Shiva, right? Shiva, being who he is, should have been working to educate people around the country so that maybe if they did want to get into politics, they would have that foundation. But Shiva just likes talking about Shiva. Oh, I created email. You know, I'm the one who did this. You know, you guys are Zionist cocksuckers. He talks like a white guy from fucking Boston. Okay? So I'm just saying, you know, I like what Shiva says a lot of the time, but again, I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Like, yo, dog, he's no Thomas, when we say he's in the neighborhood, there's no niggas nowhere who know who Dr. Shiva is unless you are really plugged into this politics shit and be online. Nobody knows who he is outside of that. Nobody. So I'm just saying he's not done a good job in actually reaching out to the people he needs to reach out to. And Shiva wants to be president, right? Okay, let's just say he builds himself up enough to become president. What is Shiva going to do with Congress as it's constructed the way it is? Yeah, Shiva's extremely famous in Boston. It's a college town. He's a college dude, and he should be popular in Boston. Outside of that, nobody knows this guy. If you're not into this shit, nobody knows him. And again, I'll re-ask my question. If Shiva was to become president, what would he do with the Congress as it's presently constructed? What would he be able to get accomplished? He wouldn't be able to get anything accomplished. So again, I don't even think that Shiva should be running for office. I think he should be moving around the country trying to educate people on the things that he has learned instead of sitting behind a computer screaming about Zionist cocksuckers. Go the fuck outside. Go talk to people. So I'm just saying, and then, you know, the thing with Shiva that rubbed me the wrong way, he started using nigga in a way as if he was like of and part of the culture. You not of that. You can't be talking like that, my dude. You turn niggas off like that. Let me just be real. We don't know you. You hang around in the college system in Boston. And you run around here talking about, oh, he's a nigga. No. That is not the way to do it. And if he was outside, somebody would have educated him. In fact, if he was around black folks, they would have educated him accordingly. So he stays in his Ivy League bubble where everybody praises him for inventing email. Because, you know, you can't talk to Shiva without him telling you that he invented email. Niggas don't even use email no more. People see emails and they can delete them. People want texts. Okay? So congratulations, you created email. We don't use that shit no more. Okay? You created CDs, them shits came and gone. Okay? we on the next shit right now. So I'm very critical of him because he talks as if he's this dude really doing something. He ain't really doing shit but building up his own profile. And I know that's harsh, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Y'all
Yeah.
already know how I get sometimes, right? Friend or foe, sometimes it
No,
don't matter.
no. Give it no, and I honestly think that it's important for people to hear like real opinions, like sometimes an unvarnished real opinion, like
Yeah.
and I just like Chris, man, that interview when he started making some of the comments about like making it as if the caste system that they dealt with in India was so much worse than what black people dealt with in America. Or I won't even only say America, I'll say that descendants of the transatlantic slave trade, no matter which country you might have landed in, whether it's Brazil to, you know, the UK to
Thank you,
wherever,
streets.
we
Thank you, streets.
we don't need a face. We need and the whole aspect of even focusing on the American political system. You're not going nowhere in this system. This is a system that is captured, corrupted, that has been built by other people for it to work for them. You can't. I mean, all you can do is get
That's
into
even
a
like
system
our
that's going to
RBN. That's
corrupt you.
even like our. That's even like our RBN brothers and sisters to sound like Cornell, right? They spend a lot
No,
of time. I see some
no,
of their coverage.
they smashed on him. They smashed on him.
No, I know. I'm not just talking about Cornell. I was mentioning Cornell because the brothers and sisters line, right?
Hmm.
Even them, they tend to look at the electoral political system, and I understand we need to comment on it and things like that, right? But they spend a lot of time really looking at candidates and like low key finger crossed, wishing that a candidate would just be right and do good and be for the people. And I get it, dog. We all had dreams and hopes, but we have to be realistic as we have to think about what Marcus just said. The system is compromised.
Well, and that's where I cut it some slack there. I realized everybody don't see it the way we see it. Maybe we're just more what what do they call us? Black pilled. I think what is it? Bank sisters called us black pilled. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe we're just black pilled. Maybe we're nihilist. Somebody called us nihilist. Maybe we're just too negative. But we don't see the utility in electoral office. Period. And I'm not
They're all
trying to,
enemies. I mean,
and if other people
line.
and if other people can make inroads that way, and they feel that they can make inroads that way, and they make them that way, and they prove us wrong, then okay, then we're proven wrong, and I'd be happy to be able to be proven wrong. I'm just like, I don't have the faith there, not in that system.
Yeah, correct. Even the way that when Cornell first announced, they were like, "Oh, Cornell did." I was just like, "Ooh."
No,
Okay.
they no, like Thomas was saying here, they had a big falling out on them, and Cornell, when he went on there, they were like, okay, you're gonna do this, do that, right? Okay, we're gonna hold you to it. And then the moment he started folding, they did like, and I can't remember who it was. I think I just wrote a message in the chat or comment or something, and I said, I give y'all credit. No, I met Nick. I responded to one of Nick's things, and I said, I give y'all credit. You brought him on the show, got him agree to stuff, and then when he reneged on it, y'all didn't care about the access. Y'all smashed on him for backtread. So I mean, gotta cut them some slack. They did push on him. And then Cornell snapped at them, and then they doubled and triple, quadrupled down on it. So I mean, maybe we might be kind of thinking about where they were with Cornell before the running and all that. It was very cozy.
Okay.
It's not cozy anymore over there. Cornell definitely don't have a soft landing spot over there.
Okay, good. You know what I mean? And what did he say? What did Hamza say? It's not about winning. Of course, I know it's not about winning. That's why I'm saying it would be best it would be best if you spend time educating people so that they know what they are dealing with. And again, it doesn't even matter about electoral politics, right? Because at the end of the day, let's just say everybody, if all of us took over electoral politics, right? And people are in all over things, who controls the money? Because all of us as a group, as a society, as a country, we all value money over everything. Maybe you don't, but the person next to you.
Yeah, you'll say, I don't.
Yeah, but collectively, our biggest value is money.
Our society, yeah.
So as long as you can get, as long as you have that as your most important value, you can be bought off. You've got a number.
Well, and that's what I was trying to allude to as far as the system. Even like, and people know I did support Bernie Sanders. I felt at that point that at the point when I was supporting Bernie Sanders, I was like, I didn't look at the system as to the level of corruption, which I see it as now. That said, the level I see it at now, years later, and honestly, during the Bernie Sanders campaign is when I started to have some of the questions and have come to the realization of where I am now. Because I don't look at myself like I probably was right in the same lens exactly where RBN is right now. I'm not trying to say that, oh, I'm so far ahead of them. I'm not saying nothing like that at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I personally have a different lens on the way I see some of the things. And sometimes people might see the same information and have different reactions to it. Mine is I have given too much in trying to help these fucking politicians. And when I started understanding how elections work, how funding works, and started looking at literal, let's just say, candidate Joe Schmo, I was able to see how much money that this person had, and how much they need to get elected, what things they need to get elected, and how many hoops they had to jump through, and who controls these hoops. And when I start looking at it from the political side to the corporation side to the banking side to the people who really control things, the actual, like the chiefs of staffs and the political advisors, these are the people who are really running our country. It's not exactly. There we go. Socks, our man Emmanuel over here.
It's not Joe Biden.
Stepping in with the assists. The IMF and the World Bank control everything. The CIA enforces their interests. Game, set, match, point. That's what I'm talking about. If you can see things, pull back and look at it. All right, Hamza. If you can pull back, like Emmanuel's talking about there, and see things from the top level, you realize how rigged the system is. And you realize, is it a point that now some people might see that and feel like, you know what? There's still ways where we can navigate through this and make it work. I've just no longer on that shit no more. I've given up on that belief that, oh, well, there's a way that we can control this. When somebody's over here who's the ref and the rules and the commissioner, and you just a quarterback, you can't control what the refs and the commissioner want to do. And when you just got to realize that. I just feel like a lot of people on the left, they don't have I don't feel like they really grasp the concept of how lock and key controlled this shit really is.
Correct. And Marcus, to the mention of the IMF and the World Bank, the IMF and the World Bank exist to make sure any of these paltry third world countries who they're getting the resources from, just to make sure their leaders keep their people in line and away from any disruption in their extraction of the resources that they're doing, right? That's purely what they exist for. You know, in America, the IMF and World Bank, we don't really have to deal with them because we've got the Federal Reserve Bank, right? So they don't really operate in our space the same way that the IMF and the World Bank operate in, let's just say, the Caribbean or in Africa. A perfect example. Look at COVID, right? The IMF and World Bank was telling what the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, and all these other countries, hey, if you want to keep these loans, you got to also install the COVID protocols. Everybody got to be masked. You put all these commercials out. You've got to do this, da 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 da. And I'm glad for the one thing that I'm glad for the World Bank and IMF is that it exposes the leaders of these countries, whether it is in the Caribbean or whether it is throughout the continent of Africa. You can always tell who the lapdogs are. You can always tell who and I don't want to use the word slave, but you can always tell who the indentured servants are.
Well, this is what I would throw in. Yeah, they might be outside of the U.S., but they work in conjunction with the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Because
it's the same people. I'm just saying those are the supervisors.
They're the same people.
Yes, yeah. They just have different regions how you supervise. Think about like Walmart. You have the garden section, you have the pharmacy, you have the supermarket, right? And that's all they do. The different people control different sections of the store.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is because
but it's the same group.
And like when I started realizing like I don't think people have understanding the gravity of this goes past just the US. This goes past, this is like, I mean, think about it like this. Exactly. One big tent. At one point in time, basically the whole known world was colonized by the countries which branch out from the Roman Empire. The whole world was basically, think about it. India was controlled, China, Japan, I mean, the whole Middle East, Africa, everything was controlled by European Western powers.
Marcus.
Now, even if you don't...
Yeah. Hold that thought, Marcus. Hold that thought. Look, I want to throw this to you so you can just go and run with this, right? They brought people from the Western from the Eastern Western Hemisphere over here, right? They brought them from the eastern side to the west side, right? And you have people today screaming about globalism. Motherfucker, when globalism hasn't been the thing, when that has not been the order of the day. We only here because of globalism. And they're worried about globalists. Globalists are going to shut the world down. I'm Alex Jones. These globalists. Like, dog, it's been global. But go ahead, Marcus.
No. You're right though. And this is just the perspective and point of view I just hope more people can come to. And I remember back to not that long ago when we had another Chris on the show, and that other Chris was so resistant to even listening to information. And the reason why I still tried to like work with that person and still try to talk to him and still try to show him stuff, because I'm like, bruh, me and you personally, me and this Chris had conversations about certain things. And I was like, if we can have conversations about this stuff, and I know this is a very bright man, and he can't see what's going on here, then I know other people who are not as bright as him, it's going to take a little longer for them to kind of figure out what's going on. And you got to remember, there's been so much propaganda that's been put out to tell people things are a certain way. And so many people have let that propaganda soak into their brain so much that they reject ideas before they even look at them. And that's a big part of how a lot of the system is maintained. If somebody's told you something is impossible, yes, we're talking about White Chris, who used to be on the show. Like I remember me and him when we were on the show that I was on before this, that I used to do with Nile. We used to talk about like we were doing stories on the hospitals being shut down. Now they're shutting down all these hospitals. Then, ironically, when COVID comes around, now there's not enough room for people in the hospitals. Well, there would have been enough if they didn't shut down the hospitals 1 year before. And they went through, we covered stories all over the country how they're shutting down hospitals. And then all of a sudden now, oh, with COVID, because the hospitals are overcrowded. How did the hospitals get overcrowded? Also, you guys are trusting the same pharmaceutical companies, which we were 2 years before that talking about all the lawsuits that Johnson and Johnson had, that Pfizer had, that AstraZeneca, that, I mean, go down the list. We were talking about all these different lawsuits about fraud practices, about bribery, about perjury, all the lying that they done for get a little scared from the media, and then everybody just fall right back into the propaganda of trusting these same people all over again. And I understand that there's a certain level of how strong and how ingrained this propaganda is. It is sometimes hard to separate people from all of it, or even separate you even a little bit from it. And that's some of the problems that we have with people. So I'm trying to have patience that people will eventually start seeing this stuff. But when this is the big underlying problem why I feel like people can't see the gravity of the whole situation. This is not just an America thing. This goes far higher than America. And this is why, and this goes back to the question of the show. Why are they showing their cards?
At some point, Marcus, I think so. I think so. If I can be the first one to try to answer your question, right? Why are they showing their cards? I think they want a reaction. Now that I really sit and think about it, I think they want a reaction.
I don't think they want a reaction. I think that and to answer my own question, the reason why I think they're showing their cards is because I think they feel it's safe to show their own cards. They're tired of not being looked at as the boss and respected as the boss. And now you got, it's kind of like as things pass through generationally, you have different levels of that generation. Grandpa, who owned the shop and who started the shop, Grandpa gonna go hard work. He gonna do all the sacrifice. He gonna do all that. When it gets passed down to son, some of that work ethic, some of that grit falls away a little. By the time it gets to the next generation, they start to lose a little bit more of that grit and grind. They start to get a little comfortable. By the time it gets to that next generation, they forgot about all the blood and sweat and tears great-grandfather did to get them to where they are. And this is how I look at the Zionists right now.
So you saying they like the trust fund?
Yeah, they're like the trust fund, baby. They've got
they like the trust fund. They like the trust fund people out of Boca Raton.
Exactly. Well, literally,
money, new attitude.
Literally and figuratively. They really just feel like I can just do whatever the fuck I want to right now. There's not going to be a pushback. There's never going to be that accountability point. Like, think about it. You had those IDF soldiers caught on camera and everything, basically tearing up people's houses, stealing and all that. But Joe Biden's like, oh, we're getting heat. Well, we're going to put some sanctions on you. So if you ever come to the States, then you'll get some fines. And what did the Israeli government do? You're going to do what? Oh, hell no. Push that shit back. You're not, no consequences on my people. And that's that we can operate with impunity around the world. And we don't have to sit back in the shadows anymore. We don't have to be scared to be, because see, what the older generations understood is we can't put our hands on everything, because if shit goes bad, then they look back at us and then we feel the heat. So let's just operate from the shadows a little bit. Let's just a little nudge here, a little suggestion there, push that, a little bit of money under the table to this person, and get people to do our bidding and our will and keep things moving. But this new generation is like, man, I heard what great grandpa was doing, but fuck all that. We ain't got to do all that bullshit no more. We can just come right out in the open and do it, and they can't do shit about it. But they don't realize your power has been because you've been able to hide in the shadows. Your power has come from having other people do it for you so that all the ire gets on them. I mean, you think about perfect example, a show like Game of Thrones. The king was the one who was the face of everything, and we're getting the blames. But it was always these advisors around them who were really making decisions. People don't look at, when you look at Biden, who's Biden's policy advisors? Do we ever look at who? I mean, do we look at who the chief of staff is? Because if you do, like I do, and you go back and look at what I've looked at, all the way going back to, I mean, we can go back pretty far, but let's just go back as far as to Reagan. Exactly, the little fingers. Go back to Reagan and look at who Reagan's chief of staff were. Look at who Reagan's political advisor was. And go from president to president to president and start looking at who the hell is sitting there.
Yo, you know what?
Chris, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
If we really think about it, Team Reagan has been around from that time, probably even a little before that to now. Team Reagan is still around. They are still influential in circles that, you know, you and I would never be part of, or most of our audience wouldn't be part of, but they are still very, very influential, and they are still around, even though they are reaching their 70s and even 80s, right? I think of like the dickhead Cheneys. Dick Cheneys, right? People from that era.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, let's just go back. Who was basically who was Trump's actually, you know what? Who is Biden's right now? Let's get the chat involved. And so I want y'all to just go on ahead and list this little exercise. And like Missy says, it's the same thing what's going on with the Royals. The Royals is the same thing over there. It's just a different makeup on how they do this shit in different countries. But I want y'all to help out in the chat and give me.
And Marcus, you know what's crazy about the Bush family is that people tend to mention the Bush family without mentioning the Walkers.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. See, Ruby's throwing out one of them, but I want y'all to give me.
Did he die,
This is
Ruby?
how we going. Yeah,
Kissinger died?
He finally died.
When he died?
He died like 6 months ago.
Oh shit! I ain't even. Maybe I did know that. Maybe
we talked. We talked about.
Oh, we did. My memory is bad.
You was probably high.
I was gonna say I probably need to smoke on that Kissinger pack. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
But I want y'all to. And if y'all got to go into the Google fingers,
forgive me, y'all, please.
I'm gonna put some names in here. And I'm gonna put this on. Yeah. Darius said,
"Cousin, I got you too, man. I got you, cousin."
I want y'all to give me. You know, let's.
I do remember. That's right. I remember. Yes, that's right. Just seeing his name and just
Let's just do this real quick. I'm gonna put this on the screen, and I just want y'all to go through, find the names. And I want y'all to put these names in the chat. Yeah, last year. Oh, it was last year. Okay.
I see Marcus.
No. He died like 3 months ago.
November 29th. Oh, he died right after my birthday.
6 months ago would have been last year. Aha.
He died right after my birthday, November 29, 2023. He died.
6 months ago.
Yep, right after my
because he died right when all this stuff was going on, because he was telling them, yo, y'all need to chill, y'all need to calm this down. Let's see, Trump, Biden, Clinton, then let's see what W. Bush, and then Bush Senior, G. Bush. So I want y'all, just these people alone, pull up their chiefs of staff and put on the screen.
Oh.
I want y'all to pull up chief of staff and political advisors. and tell me if y'all don't start seeing a pattern. I just want y'all to go through and see it. And also, you'll notice why, since what I
Yeah,
want to
Marcus,
say.
you wasn't frozen until you put that in the chat and asked that question. I swear to God, I think they be hating.
Man, every time I start cooking, man, they got to say something. They got to mess with
Every
me.
time you cook, they want to hit pause, and then it's like,
I'm like, it ain't gonna stop though. Am I still here?
no, I'm just fucking with you. No, yeah, you're frozen.
Oh, yeah, I know I'm frozen, but I was like, as long as my audio's still good, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Um.
Hold on, I'm gonna add more. I removed him. I'm gonna add him back to see if this will work. All right, Marcus, you there? Turn your camera back on, see if that works.
No, I think I'm still frozen.
Damn, as soon as yeah, you are because
No, what? No, my computer's frozen.
Oh, your computer. Oh, okay. When you hit Alt Control Delete, it does the
Let's see.
the menu come up? You get the window.
Let me try and do that.
Mm-hmm.
Where the hell is my alt at?
I know Streets, right? Some of them other ones where he got frozen, they looked crazy, right? But that one wasn't too bad.
Yeah, this one's not as bad, thank God.
And now you just got a black screen, so I'm just saying that's all right though. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I want y'all to find these names of these people and tell me
What they have in common
well
and what their policies are.
Just find these people. And so
Just find their names.
I'm gonna give y'all a couple of minutes, and then I'll start going into them. You know, you're gonna see something pretty interesting. It's just like when I was looking up the Federal Reserve chairmen. I started noticing a very interesting pattern. Especially, I want to say over the past 30 years, maybe. All right, I think I'm back. Maybe. Unplug my camera. That's probably what it is. Let's see. No. Let's see. Nobody see yet. Nobody see.
I know, Ruby. That shit is funny, right? All right, there you go, bro. You bite.
There we go. I'm back. Let's see.
You bite.
Because I remember the other day it would not let me. Oh, I had to switch cameras. Boom. Let's see. There we go. If y'all can tell, that's the sun starting to creep across. Peeking through. Sun's peeking through my window.
Yeah, mine's halfway down. I'm looking up the back, door. It's halfway. I mean,
so let me throw out, okay, just so I can show you one of them.
Yipper, what's up, man?
I'm gonna throw y'all one. So currently Biden's the president, right? Let's see. In the administration of Joe Biden, the current chief of staff is Jeff Zients.
But he replaced Ron. But he replaced
Ron Klain.
Yes.
Who replaced Ron Klain, and who was his longtime political advisor?
Biden.
We see this man on TV quite often.
Is it Dershowitz?
No. He's been taking plenty of trips back and forth to Israel.
Oh, is it not Blinken?
Yes. Anthony Blinken.
Yo,
that's
Blinken,
his political advisor.
But Blinken said, "I come to you as a Jew."
So the three most powerful people who have been around Biden. So why do you think Biden's policies have been going the way they've been? Why do you think Biden has been the way he's been for the past 20 years or 30
Marcus,
years? Why do you think he was so? Biden was one of the most pro going into Iraq people that we had in the government at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He was the most hawkish Democrat that we had. But who was his political advisor? Anthony Blinken. That's who's been fueling Biden from all these years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah, no. Again, if you just
Trump is easy. Y'all know who Trump's was. He made him like the go-to man on everything.
Kushner,
Mr. 666. Was it Avenue?
Fifth Avenue. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Kushner.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's his son-in-law. That's family.
Yep. Now let's see what you had. Obama before that. Think who was Obama's? He had a couple, but one name should jump out at most people. He was mayor for a little while of a certain city in the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody familiar with Rahm Emanuel?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Rahm.
Yeah. So,
and his brother, Rahm's brother is the one who Rahm's brother is the one who told Adidas and the rest of them to stop messing with Kanye.
Mm-hmm. Now, you want to go back a little bit more? Go through Clinton's.
Oh, come on.
Was that a certain man by the name that we brought up earlier today, Larry Summers?
Of course.
Are y'all not seeing a pattern here?
Mm-hmm.
Are we not seeing a pattern here?
Facts. And then the deputy's name was Ix.
I mean, are we not seeing a pattern here? Anybody?
John Podesta.
Me, every now and then you'll see a little one-off in here, like a Jim Baker that you might see slide in there. You might see who else was it? I mean, you see a couple. I don't want to say it like that, but it looks like Ruby is on to something. I mean, do you know how many people are of Ukrainian descent within our current government?
Several.
So it's not a coincidence that our government is pro-Ukraine. I'm just saying, I mean, when you start tying the stuff together, I go back to a quote that somebody said, I care not which puppet sits on the English crown. I care about who controls the monetary supply, and I control the monetary supply.
I think almost every member of the current administration's cabinet is a Zionist. And the president told you, and the president himself told you decades ago, he told you decades ago, you need not be Jewish to be a Zionist. He told you very clearly. He did not stutter. He did not make a mistake. He did not make an error. He told us this very plainly and clearly. And I'm thankful. And I thank you, Joe Biden. That's the one few thing. That's something I will thank you for. Thank you for being 1,000% honest. Because
but the
politicians don't often give you honesty. So just the fact that he was honest about that one little thing, I'll say thank you to him, because now we don't need to debate it. There's
But and
nothing
I'll
to
tell
debate.
you, and I'll tell you this. I remember we had a creator who came on, and I'll never forget this conversation because I'm gonna probably hit them up in the DM and ask them like, "Yeah, you remember what I said back then?" Here, I'll tell you in the private chat, Chris, and you'll
You
remember.
see my face, I'm like, who?
You're like, who is this? Because they asked me, and I think we went on the Rockfin for that portion of the interview, and we talked about this part because I was like, I'd be able to talk more freely, or we talked off camera. I can't remember. But I told this person, and they were like, because they were like, what are the elites? For people who remember the intro, when I used to put the intro, play the intro, that person is on there saying, well, what are the elites in game? What are they up to? What are they trying to do? And I responded to that person. And I think that the off-camera responses scared the living crap out of them. Now, I'm trying to remember, how long ago was that interview? I'm trying to remember, because that interview was quite some time ago now.
A while ago. Yeah.
It was definitely more than a year ago.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you that person right now.
I think that was in 22. I don't think that took place in 23.
Oh, you think it might have been further back?
It was 22 or 21, actually.
I'm trying to find it to see how long ago was that interview. I know.
Well, if you find the difference between the two, please let me know, because I don't know what the difference is. I mean, you know.
Where was
again? I think when people have not been the target of a government or a legal system.
You're right. You're right. It was. It says here 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. More than it had to be either 22 or 21.
Yeah, let's see what the actual exact date was.
March
19, 2022. March 19, 2022 was when I had that interview. And I told this person this back then. And now they're probably like, oh, I bet you they don't remember that I told them this. But they're probably like, oh, damn. He was fucking right. Because Gregory and Anna, boy, they on the rock. I just hopped on the Rockfin side. Apologies, I haven't recognized. But shout out to Denver, Gregory, and Anna. But yep, they knew exactly who I was talking
Denver,
about.
what's up? Hemp, if you're there, if you're still around, what's up? Greg, Anna, what's up?
I told them this 2 years ago. No, at this point now, would it be 2 years and 2 months ago? What was going on? And the reason why, it wasn't because I just have some kind of issue. It's because I kept seeing, I'm like, statistically, this doesn't even make sense. This statistically makes no sense for this to be this way. So if it statistically doesn't make sense for it to just probability fall like that or accidentally, then that means that either one, somebody has orchestrated this, or we have to believe that these groups of people are just way more talented and smarter than other people to get into these shoes. But that doesn't make sense to me either, because I know a lot of smart and talented people who don't make it in plenty of things. I know basketball players who are some of the best I've ever seen would never even get a chance at making it to the NBA, never get the opportunity. Football, music. I know great singers, great musicians, great people in all walks of life. And I find that in this society, it takes more than just being good at something and being really smart. It takes being good at something, really smart, maybe catching the right timing, and or connections. Some of the times somebody like there's some YouTubers right now who are big just because they got on YouTube at a time and when they were able to blow their name up early, and they were able to get ahead of all the censorship that came later on. And that was just, that was a twist of luck. Some people, because they've been able to work out a formula. Some of them, I give them credit. They've been able to work out a formula. For instance, like what RBN does is they bully the algorithm. I got to give them credit. They bully the algorithm. When you put out so much content, the algorithm, it continuously just puts you, it's going to boost you up.
Facts.
And so they're really good at doing a live stream, taking a clip from that, clip from this, clip from that, and getting it up like clockwork. And the fact that they might have a live show, then Sabby will hop on and do a show, then later on, then Nick will do an individual show, then maybe Roma hop on, then maybe he'll do something, and boom, 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 keeping a constant flow. That's how the algorithm responds to that more than anything. And if you have the ability to put together a team that you can hold together for years and continuously do that, your channel will grow. Period. That it will grow. Now, if you're one person on your own and you might be working and doing that, it might be a little hard to keep up that. So I'm like, a certain amount of credit has to be given to the ability to be able to maintain that. It's not an easy thing to do. But if you don't bully the algorithm, put out a shitload of content, or just have a name. Some people have names that, or it's going to bring over people. Sometimes people chase the algorithm. And what I mean by chase the algorithm, you know what the top stories are. And so you always cover the top story. It's a couple of channels I follow, and it'll be this major story about this man that got shot down here, and then these kids were missing here, and these are breaking stories, and they'll stay on top of these breaking stories. And also, that live stream, that 2-hour live stream, is about that one topic. When you have multiple topics like we do, it actually goes against the algorithm. We actually hurt ourselves by doing that, but I don't give a damn, because I believe that it gives our audience a more well-rounded show. And so we're able to, boom, hit y'all with a whole bunch of topics, maybe stuff that you just haven't heard our perspective on. Maybe we might be able to add something. Maybe we might say the same shit everybody else said. But we also are going to talk about some different shit that you're never going to see combined together. Did you see the famous TikTok murderers interview in jail? Craig? No, I did not see that. But and then, like Missy says, sometimes it's just people who are in the club. You kiss the right asses and shake the right hands, and you get promoted. I mean, look at some of the people who are on the TYT algorithm. Their content ain't that great, but they're getting force-fed your stuff if you get put on that corporate algorithm. Before the current algorithm, I believe Marcus and Chris would have had 50,000 subs by now, back when YouTube was about broadcasters. Oh, I have no doubt. I have no doubt. And I've had bigger content creators tell us that. I've had people who I know who are at 50,000 who have been bigger than that. I'm like, I know they would have.
But the thing is, Marcus, you and I, but you and I don't play nice in the sandbox. Not that we're not respectful of everyone else, but we just don't.
Well, here's something, Chris. I don't think people know this. Do you know that we have? Do you know that we have, like, the people who like people for like Fox News and people who CNN and stuff like that? Some of their editors and people like that follow us.
Oh shit!
Do you know that they pay attention to stuff that we say?
I had no clue.
Oh, I know, because I got a couple of them who've been following me for years. They don't always respond. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, one of the Rothschilds follows me. Now she's one of the Rothschilds who's kind of been like, hey, I don't want nothing to do with what they doing over there. I'm doing my own thing over here. As far as I know, you don't know what people are doing behind closed doors.
Yeah. No, I feel
but I know I got a couple of people who go on mainstream media all the time who follow me. And I know that they check my stories. I get likes occasionally from some of them. And then also just bigger content creators have told me other bigger content creators have mentioned and talked about. Now, do they want to reach out to us? That's a different story. Do they watch because they enjoy what we're saying or agree with us? Not necessarily. But they do at least watch to hear our perspective. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, what's that? Breaking Points. It was a good point where Breaking Points, they would come out with a segment. I would critique the shit. Then I would see them a couple days later almost try to clean up the holes in what they said the day before. I thought it was kind of a one-off until I noticed they did it like 4 times in a row. And then when we had one where we criticized, I think I did that on my own. They what is it? They had
Marcus,
our video taken down.
Streets is asking a very important question. Have you ever been swallowed?
Hell no.
Swallowed?
I'm not going
Y'all
out there
know
to
about
Laurel
that?
Canyon. I'm not going out to Laurel Canyon and seeing what happens over there. I don't know if y'all know which interview I'm talking about. This guy, big YouTube creator who he went to a party out in Laurel Canyon and saw some weird shit going on with some elite people. I don't know. I'll send it to you later, Chris.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I definitely do quite a bit of reading and researching, a lot. And that's when I started seeing the money ties to all this shit. This is how I knew the levels that it was at. Like it's on a whole nother level. And I feel like a lot of just content creators don't see it. And I'm not even picking out a name. I'm not saying this person or that person. I'm not saying anybody. I'm just saying I think a lot of them don't realize the level to how deep some of this stuff goes and how much money's involved. And that's the reason why I asked this question again. And I answered it. I feel like they're showing their hands because they feel comfortable and safe. How many of y'all know that a lot of the kings back in the day, they had to, just like Game of Thrones, they had to go to an iron bank in a sense. And plenty of kings were like, their kingdoms were going bankrupt and stuff like that. What some of those people learned is it's better to not be the king. It's better to be the king, the person who can control the king. And
yeah, because because if things don't go right, you don't want the smoke and you don't want to be called out. You don't want the responsibility. So as you said, the next best thing, if you're not the king, is to be the king's closest advisor. You get all the benefits without having the responsibility of dealing with the people. And when shit goes bad and the king got to run, you can actually steal from him and you can stay there and get yourself
be the advisor for the next king.
For the next one. That's what I was going to say. You get to keep your job. And when the next person comes along, you get to sell yourself to the next person. Like, hey, look, you should really listen to me. You know, the other guy went bad because he didn't listen to my advice and so on and so forth. And you get there, right? So taking the public first place position isn't always the best position to be in. The advisors, the people underneath and around and surrounding the number one position is the best because people don't oftentimes know your name.
Yep.
Marcus just asked us to name the advisors, right? Many of us had to do some searching on the internet to find the names, even if some of us remembered a name or two, but we still had to go ahead and search to find out who them other people are. But we remembered the presidents, all the people who are around them, they're still benefiting. Their kids are living great lives. Their grandkids are doing okay as well, right? That's what it is. So you don't need to be the face to be the person in charge.
In fact, I'm gonna ask a question for everybody in the chat. What skills do you think, like, what are the best careers that you would think a person would need to make a solid, good president? Like, what career backgrounds should most people have come from? I kind of want to hear it because I'm gonna
Lawyer.
ask another question after that. What'd you
A
say?
lawyer. A lawyer, because you're good with you playing with the English language into making bullshit sound like it's a fucking 3-course meal.
Gregory's funny. And responding to that, he was like, I remember they said how much I asked them how much time they had when they wanted to know what are the elites up to. Anna says, yep, it was a little surprising since she knew how corrupt our government. Yeah, I found that kind of funny too, that she didn't make that obvious connection. But the a lot of times the low-level staffers, they don't low-level staffers, it's just a job for them. So they haven't thought much higher than that. It's the same thing as people in the military. Hey, I'm doing my job. I can't really worry about that. And Chris said lawyer. Lawyer makes sense to a degree. Accounting, that makes sense. Managing, majority of them, and I want to say something like 85% are former lawyers.
Correct. Because you need to know how to sell. You need to know how to sell people on the shit that they don't need. But you have to be able to convince them that they need the shit they don't need. And that's what attorneys are really great at. They're great at getting you to worry about the statistical anomaly that could happen. That's 1 in a trillion chance. They do a very good job in letting you know that, hey, this 1 in a trillion time, hey, maybe it's not 1 in a trillion, it's 1 in 100,000. So you should be concerned about it. That's what they exist to do, and to run up the bills on you.
But I would argue what you should see more presidents come from that would make more sense to prepare you for the job would be historians, accountants. I
don't even think those are good people either.
No, the reason why I'm saying it is if you have an understanding of what the history of things are, then you can probably manage things better. People from a military background, those are people that should. But when you put a bunch of lawyers in there, lawyers focus on law. They don't focus on history. They don't focus on military strategy. They don't focus on weapons. They don't understand strategic planning as far as wars. They don't understand global politics. They don't understand many of these things. But
remember, the lawyers don't need to know any of this. They just need to know how to manipulate the crowd, right? Like an MC, right? They
need to know enough to keep themselves from going to jail. That's about it.
Yeah, and they need to, and they counsel you on how to manipulate people. Ooh, say this, say it like this, say it like that.
And well, that's good for this current system. But if you were trying to run an actual, like, a real serious, like, position, exactly, political science, military, like Eisenhower, you would be somebody who would know how to actually be a real leader, because the stuff that the president is dealing with on a day-to-day, it's not going to be dealing with domestic issues, which majority of people that you're going to see, majority of content creators focus on the president and how they're going to handle domestic issues. Presidents don't even do that.
And I'm not pandering, but if we're talking about people who would be good, then at some point you would need to put a woman in there, right? Because we've seen women manage their homes without men in such a way that is very impressive, and you have to tip your hat to them. At least I've witnessed that, right? And there's not all of them. I'm not saying every woman, every single mom or anything like that, but I'm just saying you need some women in there because they're able to create miracles out of dog shit, right?
I'll go from the other angle. And I would go from the other angle. I would say, and I'll probably get some heat for this. A lot of times the women still, they handle things more emotionally minded, more driven. by their emotions. And so when you're dealing with situations that can involve millions of people,
Correct, but at the
and a
same
woman
time,
now has the power to physically push back, that sometimes that power can be abused.
it can, but I would say for men, the moment you come for men's ego, they get very emotional and crazy too, and they don't know how to act either. Right. So I just want to put that out there. Niggas, you challenge niggas' egos and their prides, niggas turn into them same women that we criticizing too. So we have to be very careful about just only saying niggas, because some of these niggas be more sensitive than bitches. Let's just be honest. Some of these niggas real soft and very emotional too, and they get emotional as well. So I'm just saying, I'm not pandering. I'm just calling the spade a spade.
Well, honestly, I just think that less of the people running things should be coming from a colonizer descendancy and perspective. That would probably change a lot of the things also. When you have people who come from this, yeah, I know we stole this country, but it's mine now. So I'm going to set the rules on how it needs to go. When you have people who come from the mindset.
No, just because of the fight last night, Trez.
Oh yeah, what's up, brother? But they come from this mindset and this is mine and this is how I need to run it. That's what you have, that like crazy nationalism that you have a lot of people with, and they have a hard time understanding. Yeah, you're not China. It's not like you were just, this is your ancestral homeland that you've had, and you stole a country. Killed millions of people, enslaved them, did horrendous things, and then brought over other people to enslave. You don't have this footing to act so proud. You should kind of calm that nationalism shit down just a tad bit.
And Marcus, let me add this, right? Let's look at like relationships, right? Women have had to deal with men stepping out on them for quite a while. They get over it. They work on it. Yeah. Do they give you a hard time after it? Yes. But a lot of the time, the women are able to actually work through it, despite them giving you a hard time and shit like that. Men, they cannot handle it. Let's just be honest.
Yeah,
men
but
can't
at the
handle
same
it.
time,
Men start asking women stupid questions like about the size of his dick, right? So I've seen that. I've been on that side. I'm not the nigga who asked the question. I'm the dude they be asking about. So I'm just saying, niggas be getting very emotional and silly too. I just want to put that out
at the
there.
same time,
There's a lot of goofy niggas out here. There's a lot of goofy and soft men out here who make very bad decisions as well.
I like what Missy says. It depends on the individual, because
honestly,
correct. If you go back to before there was testing, DNA testing, how many women out there, how many dudes out there are raising kids that ain't theirs? Probably a whole lot of them. So that don't mean that we could just go this battle of the sexist thing and
no, not at all. I'm just saying I like to just keep shit a buck. I'm not pandering. Yeah, I'm not pandering because at the same time, there are some women who are just horrible decision makers, right? Like you signed up to be you signed up to be baby mama number 7 for Future, right? Not smart at all, right? But then again, the nigga who decide to who decide to date the chick who had Future's 7th baby is an idiot too.
Yeah,
right. So I'm just saying,
I'm giving a perfect example. I don't know who's seen Sons of Anarchy out there. I just finished watching, and I do recommend it, by the way, if you're looking for a new show to watch. But when you find out all this shit, all of this death and destruction is based off of this one woman's lie. And I'm not trying to put it on the men versus women, but I'm like, there's plenty of destruction that has been done by a woman's lie alone. So I wouldn't, for me, I don't feel like
so the woman lied and the man wasn't. So the woman lied and the man wasn't smart enough to discern that she was lying and to figure it out in a way that didn't cause chaos. Again, it's both. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying
she lied, but you didn't use your intelligence to try to figure this out. You just got emotional because she told you something. Saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Both men and women are equally fallible. So I can't say, oh, well, I think women would make better leaders. I think it all depends on the individual's integrity.
Yeah,
Not
correct.
necessarily, because you can find salt of the earth men, salt of the earth women. Yeah, you go into Adam and Eve, talking about that. Eve is the one who sent
Yeah,
Adam to
because
go off. I mean,
niggas
so
are like, people will say, oh, women, your pregnancy is tough. Blame Eve. She shouldn't have bit the apple. But who's the da-dun who went and followed behind it?
and then you can also go into, like, for instance, Helena of Troy. That woman twisting up two men back and forth started a shitstorm that got thousands of men killed, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands killed.
And if you was a G, you would have let her go and found a new chick. But yet you started a fight. So you're soft. So you went ahead and started a fight because another nigga took your chick. Dog, that wasn't your chick. That's what I'm saying. Dude is soft too, B. You go upgrade. You don't start a war because the chick left you. You soft. Go upgrade. Go find another one. Damn, I took an L. Let me move on. No, I'm going to start a war and go get the chick who left me. I'm going to go kidnap the girl who left me. Niggas is dumb.
I'm just saying, either way, you can get horrible leaders either way. Margaret Thatcher was in charge of the UK. Where we got somebody from the UK in here. I doubt that they would say that was so much better than the men who are running things.
Oh, I mean, well, Margaret Thatcher. I mean, come on, she's part of the same. In that case, there's no difference between a man and a woman. She was going to do the same thing. Whatever. If you would have replaced Margaret Thatcher with, I don't know, Michael Thatcher, it would have been the same thing, right?
Or Macron's husband. I mean, wife.
Yeah, I don't even know about that because it looks very masculine there. You know what I'm saying? It looks
like
extremely masculine.
Man or woman, you put the ring on an ugly one. That's all I know.
Yeah,
you could have did better than that, Macron. I mean, come on. That's all I'm saying.
No, she was turning him out from
but look at it like this. Do you think if Hillary was the president instead of Bill, things would have been better?
Better.
I think shit would have been worse.
I don't know about better. It would have been different. I think she would have been more clear on pushing buttons. I don't think she would have been for all of the quote diplomacy. I think she would have said, "Oh, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing." Burp, hit the button. So she would have been harder than the hardest dude out. You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. It would have probably been worse.
But at the same time, it would have
had us in more wars much sooner.
Correct, but at the same time, it's not totally against what the empire wants anyway. She would just made it happen a little bit sooner.
Do you think Madeleine Albright being president would have been great?
I think it would have been the same, if not. I mean, look, we see all these men have been president, and there hasn't been a decent one.
Well, my point is, look at all the women who are heads of these defense companies. It's showing that the sex doesn't matter when they get to that level.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
The system is so corrupted. So it would be different, but most of these people that rise to that level are rotten to the core anyway. So either way, you're getting either shit on a stick or shit on a sandwich. Which one do you want?
Correct. It just depends on how you want to eat it, right?
Do you want to get shot or do you want to get stabbed? Which one? Yeah, that's what we're getting. Because if you would have gave Trump 4 more years, would things have been so much different? They would have been different. But I don't see that. Okay, here's the question. Do you think Trump would have handled October 7th different than Biden? And if so, yes, how would he have handled it different?
Yes, I think it would have been different.
In what ways?
There wouldn't have been the slightest level of pretense about, hey, optically make this don't be so heavy-handed. Trump would have been like, hey,
Loading bitches up.
If they would have attacked us, I'd push the button. He would have said some dumb shit like that.
Yeah, he might have told him to nuke him. Yeah, he might have.
Yeah. He would have said, hey, you know what? Just get the lawnmower and just mow over them people. Don't think twice about it.
He might have sent in troops.
Correct.
He might have sent in American troops. Very, very possible.
Yes. Very possible.
That's what I'm saying.
And the Democrats at that point would have this would have been their protest on TV. They would have been like, no, I don't think Donald Trump should have done that. I oppose this action by Donald Trump. That would have been the extent of their protest. Because secretly they're all paid to do that.
This makes us a lot more. Gregory says here, well, if women are emotional and a lot of us are raised by our mothers, makes me wonder. That's
exactly.
Could that be why you got some of these dudes acting the way you complaining about them?
Thank you, Greg. Yo, because oftentimes when I watch even sports, right, you can see the dudes who just had a single mom. You can tell the men who didn't have a man in their life the way that they are a little bit emotional. You can look and see, his pops wasn't around. He's got a little bit of feminine tendencies, etc., etc. But hey, I'll leave it there, But again, you're supposed to be man. You're supposed to act a certain way, but you act like So I'm just saying.
Right. This like.
Philly says Ukraine would have been different if Trump was in office. Ukraine would have been different in that the Ukrainian government would not have been so offensive towards Russia at that particular moment.
I think they would have just held off their plans for it until the Democrat came into power. That's what I think. Because they know how Trump felt about like the Ukrainian issue, especially with the whole Hunter Biden stuff. He wouldn't have co-signed all this shit.
No.
And I think the CIA would have had to back up off of it. But at the same time, I don't see these presidents as being able to operate with complete. I don't think that they're making complete. They're given, okay, this is the direction. Now, how you want to handle it, the generals will give you option A, B, C. And you can take option A, B, C. Because that's what happens with all these presidents. I mean, they have no experience in military. And so they don't know really jack about what the military should be doing, even though they're the commander in chief. And so they're given a range of options. And they're given a range of options that come from the State Department, DOD, and Homeland Security on all these different topics. And so at the end of the day, you're still doing. It's like, let me think of something crazy. It's like if Chris has never been to California and I'm telling him, yo, the best way to go is this way, this way, or this way. How can Chris tell me that I'm wrong if he don't have GPS or a way to look it up? All he can do is trust. Yeah, these are the ways that he says go. And that's the same way with these leaders. They don't know at all what the hell that they're actually doing when they get in these positions because they have no training on the issues which they deal with on the most. Most presidents spend their time dealing with foreign issues, foreign policy, and so if you don't know anything about foreign policy or military issues, then you gotta farm all that out to your advisors.
But I think it's all fake though. Like in terms of they're dealing with foreign, it's all fake. They don't have anything to do. They have no say so. The people who run these, the military, the weapons manufacturers, things like that, the the politicians and business people within these countries and these sectors, they're the ones who really dictate what really goes down. You know what I'm saying? It's not the presidents. They just that's all just for show for the people who think that these people are influential or that they have power.
Well, that's the reason why I say you got to investigate the cabinets and these advisors who is telling them to do X, who is telling them to do this, who's telling them to do that, who's saying that this is a good idea, a bad idea. I mean, if we look at our foreign policy, Netanyahu came out and said what we should be doing, all the countries we need to go into and fight. And if you look at it, each president, whether it's been Republican or Democrat, has followed that script. And if you look at the people who have been the advisors, all of them basically are best buds with Netanyahu and the Israeli government and are working towards the goals of the Israeli government. So what do you expect for them to do? That's the reason I was just about to click that one. Ruby says, why do you think the Republican and Democratic establishment are against Donald Trump? You want me to answer first or you?
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I think the reason why they don't like Trump is because Trump has kind of jumped ahead of procedure in a sense. The people in DC, since they're not in real control of anything, the one thing they can be in control of is who's in line for which spots. This is who was supposed to run this. This is who runs that. This is the pecking order in a sense. And they don't like the fact that Trump was able to jump the pecking order. He's somebody who didn't spend any time within working his way up the way they're used to. They're used to you starting out at a small level. You become an alderman, you become a councilman, you work up from there to possibly being a city council. Then you work from city council to possible state house or state senate. Then from state house, state senate, then you normally become a congressman, or if you got enough money, you just jump to being a senator. And then from a senator, you could possibly run for governor or try to run for higher office. And they don't like the fact that he's somebody who has circumvented that whole process and jumped ahead of them. That's where I think they're mostly upset with. Because Trump is definitely not operating independent on his own. He knows the parameters which he has to stay within also. But I think that the powers that be felt, they're really upset with the choices that we give them from the Democratic side and the Republican side. So maybe if we throw somebody from the outside, they'll feel like, oh, the system is not this complete rinse and repeat, cycle people all the way up to the top system. And I just think that now and more people are seeing through the BS and how this system has been manufactured and the consent has been manufactured. So they're just trying to make it not seem as controlled as it already is. Do you think part of it is they could not control? Oh, I think Trump is definitely controlled. I think that the only reason why he's not in office is this was a little sit down. This was, okay, you want to keep running off at the mouth and you don't want to do things when we say do them, because I don't even think that he's not doing what they want done. I think it's one of those situations like you see with these AIPAC politicians. If you can vote with AIPAC, you can vote with Israel on everything. But if you even voice any criticism, that there's no tolerance for that criticism. We're just going to go to our guy or girl over here who we know is not going to criticize at all, is going to do what they're supposed to do and not give us any grief. Well, Trump might do what he's supposed to, but he might ask a little question here and there, or he might decide to do something that they have to go back and clean up. And I think that's part of the issue they were like, all right, we need to humble him for a moment.
Keep going, Marcus. Give me another 30 seconds.
Oh, okay, you're good. So I think not only did they feel like they need to humble him, but if they could You know, they can use this as the time which they typically use when they go from Republican to Democrat. What they do is, if they're able to put it in the power of Democrats, typically people don't pay attention to conservative gripes outside of the conservative ecosphere, because conservatives' criticism, it's so broad ranging that you stop listening to the bitching, because they're just looking for reasons to complain about the other side. And when they do that, and they're so over the top about their criticism, because it doesn't come from legit criticism, it comes from, I hate you, so since I hate you, I need to find stuff to use against you. And so it typically devalues the criticism. And just like I told certain Republicans, I'm like, yo, you could have led with, he was a deporter in chief, you could have led with this and that. You didn't have to lead with, look at his ears, I think he looks like a monkey, and look at the tan suit, and oh yeah, by the way, did you know that he deported all these people? Well, you start off
I look like a monkey.
No, I'm talking about how.
Hey, yeah, look, it is what it is. I thought we was cool, but look, I'm sure there's somebody looking monkeys, so it's all good.
That's why I cover my ears, so you can't say that.
I feel you.
But
look, our movie about to drop though, Planet of the Apes. Though we about to take it over.
That's gonna be fire. But I was saying that because of those Republicans, they criticize all this other shit that's stupid. Oh, he's wearing a tan suit. That's disrespecting the thing. Well, when you have valid concerns, oh, he started another war in this country over there. People don't hear that because you spent all this time bitching about everything. And so they'll bring Democrats in because they know that Republicans are going to bitch about everything. They're going to say some shit that's true. They're going to say some shit that's not true. So just don't even pay attention to them. And they've kind of done it to themselves by complaining about every fucking thing. Then what'll happen is, now that they've kind of pushed through some of the things they wanted to under that Democrat, and people are not listening to the complaints from the Republicans because they've been the boy who cries wolf all the time, things are going to slip through. Then the Republicans get in there and start doing some of the same shit and continue it. And then that's the point where, oh, now the left is all outraged and pushed back. And so it's this push-pull. The so-called left, or just basically establishment Dems, they'll put in all this stuff and get all these things in place. And they'll do some of the stuff that's not popular, like, well, I know we got to fix the roads, so we'll throw some money towards this. And if this homelessness problem spins out of control, then the bottom will fall out faster, and then people will be at our throats. So let's throw a little bit of money at Chip, and let's do some shit like that to kind of, keep the masses off our backs. Or the Republican side is not bright enough to understand that if you don't take care of some of these people, the so-called riffraff on the bottom who aren't doing so well, that are going to come for your ass when shit gets bad. So they got to balance it out. And then when Republicans get in, all that money that y'all fed out to help all these things, we'll feed it back to ourselves during the Republicans. And so it's a push-pull game that they do on getting their way.
To answer Ruby's question, I think, why do they push back? I've used this analogy here before. They are all crooks. Picture this scene, right? They're all trying to rob a jewelry store. They don't want to set the alarm off. And there's a bunch of glass objects in this jewelry store. The rest of them are moving like ninjas throughout this store, right? And they're stealing things, filling up their bags and all this other shit. They're doing it very quietly. Donald Trump is the cat burglar who has no athleticism, or he doesn't know how to move. So he's in the jewelry store knocking shit over, making mad noise, and making the alarm go off, so then maybe the authorities will come. They don't like Trump because he's so sloppy. It's not because they disagree with any of his policies. It's just that he brings too much attention to what is going on. And that's not because he's trying to inform his base or the American people. It's just because this dude is sloppy. They're as simple as that. I mean, look how he dresses. He dresses sloppy. I mean, for once, I wish that dude would get his suit even tailored to his big, goofy, nasty body having ass, right? But he just wears these oversized suits. His tie reaches his kneecap, right? As a man, you put on a tie. That's not how you put on a tie. That's not how your tie should sit. But I'm just saying, Trump is just not savvy enough for the establishment to get behind, because he accidentally leaves the door open. When they're trying to have private conversations, he leaves the door open.
Yep.
Or he leaves the recording device on when they should have shut it off. He leaves too much of a trail to let you know that, oh, goddamn, you people was here doing this shit. I know who robbed us. So they don't want him because, yeah, correct. He ended up like at the end of Nixon. You know what I'm saying? So that is why they don't like him, because he just raises his existence by himself just creates too much. He makes the scene too hot. You know, it's like on some street shit, right? If we was outside in the streets and we was trying to move, we don't necessarily want hanging out with us on the corner, busting his gun from the corner at every little interaction. You know, that's a dude you would tell, like, yo, dog, chill, son. You making the spot hot. You gotta relax. And then sometimes dudes like those, like when you go out, you don't bring those type of dudes with you when you go out to certain places, because you know they're just gonna make a whole lot of drama the moment somebody brushes against them, steps on their sneaker, or, you know, shoulder bumps them too hard. Then they're gonna want to fight, and they're not just gonna want to snuff or say a couple words. They're gonna want to go get a hammer and spray up the whole place. We can't afford that. It's you blowing up our spot. You letting the cops know that we hustle on this corner, and we don't want the cops to know that we hustling on this corner. And even though we know the system is mostly corrupt individuals, there are still a few individuals and maybe groups of individuals within the system that still have that, I'm going to do a good job, I'm going to fight the good fight. So there are some of them still there who would actually want to prosecute and go after criminals. And again, that group is minuscule, but they're still there. And you still have to take action against them if you are people in power. Because not for nothing, you don't even want to be exposed, even though you know that you're going to beat the charges and that they won't lock you up. You still just don't want to have to deal with it if you don't have to.
Yeah, it's like being it's like being Avon Barksdale. I mean, you don't even want them to know your name. And like for the first part, they didn't even know who he was. Now they know your name. They don't have nothing on you, but you don't even want them to know your name. You want to sit off the record. And that's why, you know, going back to the theme of the show, why are they showing their cards? Israel right now, like how Netanyahu used to be, that's the reason why I say Netanyahu has been the best prime minister they can have for what they've been trying to do. Because over the years, when he didn't have this pressure on him, he knew how to, like, any of y'all play Grand Theft Auto out there, or at least have played it before. You know how you got your stars, right? Netanyahu knows how to, okay, my stars are getting up there. The heat is getting up there. Let me calm it back down. Let me get a couple of hideouts. Let me chill over here and let the stars come down. But the problem is the coalition he got with him, they act like they don't know there's no stars. Like, and their mentality is only going to keep raising. You know how, like, when it gets to the level where the helicopters start coming out, and then like you got the damn jets coming out, and you got like 50 cops out. They have this mentality of, I don't care about the heat. We're not going to get caught no matter what we do. And he's like, no, but you don't understand. We can get to a point where we can get too close to the sun. But they not trying to hear him. That's the reason why if you let one of them just be in charge, they probably would already got everybody blown up, because they just so damn reckless.
And Marcus, Thomas, to your comment, Thomas, I would say that he's not even pseudo right wing woke, because if we look at if we look at his administration and all of the agenda items that were passed, they were long held establishment neoliberal and neoconservative policies that they were going to pass regardless. So again, even on a legislative front, Trump was no different than the guy who preceded him and back down the line. He didn't do anything different or quote unquote radical at all. I mean, look, he helped the military unload some ammunition that they probably was holding on for some time. Hey, just go light off these, just go bomb the sand in Syria, and then we'll give you more money so you can re-up on the deal, right?
I agree. I mean, if you look at it, Trump is no different from what Republicans have wanted to do all the way back to George W. to
HW.
George H.W. to Reagan to the Nixons. He's in the same mode, because if you think about it, they got all the same damn advisors. Mm-hmm. It's most of the same people. If they haven't died off, it's that successor is the new one. Like, I mean, Barr, for instance, Barr goes all the way back to the Nixon administration. These people are all on the same, they're all on the same mode. The only difference is Trump talks like a conservative. He gets the conservatives, juices flowing, because he talks the way they talk. But he's still behaving the same way. I mean, he's still like the difference between like a DeSantis and like a Jeb Bush. Policy-wise, they be not very much different. The only thing is, one is going to be flagrant and tell you, basically like, F the gays, basically. And the other one is going to, well, I don't really agree with these policies of the LGBTQ group. That's the only damn difference. And because some of them are so dumb, they don't realize that he's saying the same fucking thing. They need the guy who's going to spell it out for them. And that's the difference. I mean, some people are so dumb that they're like, well, I don't get, like you could say, hey, this place has reached maximum capacity. We can't allow too many more people in here. Some people don't want to hear that. They want to hear it's too fucking crowded. That's how they are. Mm-hmm. Not Jagged Edge.
Because some people know J.E. is Jagged Edge, right? So I just want to say that J.E.'s just I would hope they catch that.
The J.E., most of them are Hebrew Israelites now, don't you?
Yes.
In fact, one of them on the street corners, Brian Case.
I like Jagged Edge. I mess with them. Them dudes could actually sing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
they were a little biggie, but okay.
As far as I've known, I don't know any of them to be doing anything too funny money, right? I've never heard of any. Really
why do you think you're not hearing about them no more? That's why, because they say, hey, we're not playing the funny money game, so that's when your career kind of goes off track. I mean, why we don't? What was the other Destiny's Child member? Why we don't hear about her ass hardly ever?
Who, Michelle?
Yeah, you don't hear about her. You barely hear about. Was it Latoya? Was Latoya Lockett?
Oh yeah, her too. Yeah, Streets. What'd he say? I learned at a young age. My public defense lawyer was joking around with the prosecutor before court proceedings. It's all a sham. If you found yourself in trouble with the law in any way, you know that the public pretenders are working with the prosecutors. The prosecutors have the career goals. The public pretenders are usually people who are just trying to work enough cases so that they can jump over to the prosecutor's side.
Yeah, man, these people are all careerists.
Or they jump into defense. Where you have to take where you make your clients pay you a huge retainer, depending on what the crime is, right? 10,000, 15,000, 35, 40, 50,000 retainer.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby says they were not down with the Diddy stuff. Yeah. Like I said, I've never heard Jagged Edge being funny money. But you know,
they probably didn't even hang out with him like that. It was like, yo, if we're gonna do a song together, boom, song cut, rap, we're out.
You know, I want to say this about all of this stuff, whether it's Epstein, Diddy, there's a lot of people who have a lot of weird sexual preferences, and they get down with this shit just to get their shit off. You know what I mean? There's a lot of weird. The people like the Epstein, Diddy, some of these people really just think that they don't understand that they're part of something. They don't know that they're going to be compromised and used later on down the road. A lot of these people are just like, oh shit, I get to get my nut off with so on and such, men and women. You know what I'm saying? They don't really realize that they're being set up. And yo, get moral clarity. Play with yourself before you leave the house. It's called PNC, post nut clarity. Just get your shit off real quick and then think if you see if your shit's a little clearer.
Well, you're just saying, make sure you're going out on empty, huh? Don't be showing up on full.
Because when you locked and loaded, ready to go, you might fall for a lot of shit because you're ready to get that shit off, right? So
power game for power bottoms. Hey, I can't remember who was it that I was listening to the other day, and it was like, hey man, I didn't seen where we at the studio, and I'm like, man, funny business going on, and I see you people just accepting drinks from anybody, and they smoking on just anything that anybody give them, no questions asked. Guys stumbling around late at night and like, yo, time for me to dip. And so
I'm just saying to the men in the crowd, right? To the men in the audience, have you ever looked at your phone and thought about making a call or sending a text? And before you do that, you handled your business. Do you feel the same way after you handled your business? You probably looking like, thank God I didn't make that call, or thank God I didn't send that text. Now I could go about my day and I'm straight, right? If you don't do all of that, then you end up sending texts and making calls that you didn't want to do. So take care of yourself. I'm just saying.
Because you can end up being like some cats where you end up first thing in the crack of dawn, and you wake up and like, oh shit, how the fuck do I get out of here? Oh damn! Wow! Oh shit! I mean, you wake up and you're like, man, you know, because sometimes you see somebody in the club and, you know, lights to be a little different. You had a couple of drinks. Like, I remember this old Navy joke. Hey, this is just a joke. This is not anything I do. But this dude was like, my little test, how I know is I keep a picture of my wife in my wallet. And he's like, when I pull it out and I check that picture, every probably 30 minutes. And when my wife started looking hella good, I realized, oh, it's time for me to go home. I've had way too much to drink.
Yo, Marcus, you could find yourself in the trunk of a car underneath a blanket being smuggled into places where you shouldn't be because, you know, you wasn't thinking with the proper. So, you know, maybe that's a personal story. Maybe it's not. I'm just saying you don't want to be transported into different places where it potentially could go really south for you.
Real life though, in the Navy though, especially when I was in Jacksonville, those dudes who would be they meet these girls on the north side thinking, oh shoot, I'm about to go back with them. Next thing you know, you walk in the house, 3 grown ass men standing there ready to empty your pockets. And so sometimes you don't go out there chasing everything that, seems like a good idea for the moment.
Yeah, correct. I mean, it's so that's what I'm just saying. Get some clarity.
Jilf is funny.
The crib. We had 3 hours. I don't want to end it like I don't want to end it on some like we were just like everybody's gonna die in Palestine. All right, guys, see you next week. I don't want to end it on that note. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely end it on something hilarious too. Man, I seen this skit. I don't know. Just remind me to show it.
Where Jill Stein came in all of a sudden with the extra comments. Like, Jill, we're gonna need you to go release Jill.
Yeah. No, Jill sound like they trying to get somebody to release.
Yeah, I know. Like, calmate, por favor.
I don't know. We find somebody in the chat we can send over to Jill's house,
right?
or y'all can meet at a third party location,
at a safe location, right?
I don't know. Jill might be like, "Yeah, you was waiting for me, boy." I mean, you never know.
Exactly.
You remember that old Mr. T joke?
Which one?
Eddie Murphy. He was like, he had a dream and he woke up that everybody in Hollywood was gay, including Mr.
God.
T.
Oh, I pity the fool.
He was like, "Hey, boy, you looking real nice in them jeans over there." I don't know, man. Y'all need to go see that shit. That shit was hilarious.
They said, come to Ohio, middle of a cornfield. That sounds like mosquitoes be out there.
And then you get cornhole. That's not a good thing.
That sounds like you ain't gonna make it. That sounds like you ain't gonna make it out of the cornfield.
Nope. Only.
So, Marcus, today is Cinco de Mayo. It's 8:45 here on the East Coast. I know it's 5:45. So you're not going out to get in any trouble with some chicos today?
No, I mean, best case scenario, we might go grab some tacos from some place and call it a night. I just started watching a new I gotta hit you up on my hookup that I got. Oh, remember I was telling you about watching the fight? Man, yeah. I got so many. Man, I got channels galore now.
Okay.
I was like, Channel 4 News UK? Oh crap. I'm like, I'm watching local stations in other countries now.
Yeah.
I mean, it got a little, and it's 4K.
So, Marcus, as usual, I like to nerd out right before we leave. Are you watching any anime, any Marvel, anything? Are you watching any of that stuff? Any movies? Any,
I got stuff on my list because, for the other channel I want to talk about. And I took a clip from our Civil War talk. I clipped that and I put that on the other channel. And so if anybody wanted to be able to catch that from last week, or no, it was the week before. Huh?
Yonina, what's up? Streets, BTV, BEETV. Look that up. And you should be able to find basically anything you want on BTV. You just have to pick the correct stream. It may take you 2 or 3, 4 or 5 clicks, but maybe on the 6th or 7th click, you'll find a good copy. But I watched the entire Halo series on BTV. It was actually not bad.
Yeah, pimp. I went through. I got HBOs I didn't even know they had. I got all the HBOs. I got all the Cinemax. I got all the Stars and all the Showtime.
Stars, Showtime.
And I got another one. Yeah, I got all of them got 10 channels a piece now. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I'm about to be watching a lot more shit now that I got. Oh, and I think the shit that
Marcus, I
got
told you long
NFL
time.
Network,
Marcus,
and
I
I think I
told you
got
long
NFL
time
Network
ago.
on it too.
Marcus, I told you long time ago just to holler at me. I'll give you whatever you want. I told you that. The only thing I don't have is Disney and Hulu. That's the only thing I don't have.
I got that too.
Son, we could trade. I got everything
Yeah.
else. Yeah. See, this is
Yeah.
this is black on black crime. Us not sharing the bootleg shit with each other. You see what I'm saying? See, niggas don't really like each other.
Oh man. Oh, I was gonna ask too. How is what's your schedule looking like for what is it? Probably second, third week of June.
I'm here.
Okay.
The only days
Okay,
that
so
are difficult. Yeah, I'm here. The only days that are difficult for me are Tuesday and Fridays. Other than that, I'm available.
hey, we can get a rental and ride the streets that day. I'm thinking about planning that for my trip to be out there then.
Oh, son, just let me. Okay, so then we'll talk offline. I'll send you the information for the tickets, and you'll just pay the super low.
Got you. That sound good. So
And then
y'all
you can
hear
stay at the
that?
crib. And then
Y'all
you can stay
in
at
the
the
Florida
crib.
area. I'll be out there.
Yeah, and you can stay at my crib. You know, whoever you bring in with you, y'all can stay here. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you good. You won't be in
All right,
you won't be in a closet. You'll be,
That's a bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll hit you up offline, and I guess we can end it on that note. Hey, y'all just go watch some funny shit. That's a good way to end out the night.
Oh, Marcus, real quick.
Everybody got to go back to work tomorrow.
And real quick, I just want to say one of the things that made me sad this week, Thomas's last comment made me bring it up. I'm a big basketball fan. For those of you who don't know, I love basketball. Right? Cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
With that being said, NBC put in a bid for the games to be shown on NBC. That would come at the expense of TNT having the games. So that means Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson, that whole show would be done with on TNT. And I just want to say, as somebody who's been watching that shit since the 90s, I'm very, 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 very disappointed that this really could be a reality, that I would lose Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Kenny. They really have the best sports show on TV for many years now, and losing them is like, it sucks. So I just want to say, next year pretty much could be the last year that TNT broadcasts NBA games. I already got the guest bedroom, Marcus. Yeah, it is, man. He got the guest room already, man. So whenever he's ready, just come through.
All right. Yeah. Oh, that's what oh, that's right. I did watch something. I gotta let y'all know about that. If y'all the second season of Them, just finished watching it. 8 episodes. Wild.
It was good.
Yeah, man, it was good. We just finished watching it. And I was sitting because I spent the whole time like, yo, this is mad different. Like, how is this shit tied together, or is it gonna tie together at all? And the last episode, the way they finish it off, I can't wait to see the third season. Because I know it's gonna be a third season. For those that don't know, who didn't watch Them at all, the first season takes place like in the 50s, and this one takes place in the 90s, and it's starring the same the lady who played the mom. She's plays a detective in this one. That's all I'll say. She plays a detective in the 90s, and harkening back to the days of Rodney King, because like Rodney King is going on during this time period. So I'm just leave it at that. Y'all need to go check this shit out. It's called Them Scare, I think. But yes, if y'all like the first season, just check this shit out. Oh, that's what I needed, man. I need to do a video on that shit for my other channel. But and I advise go check it out first before watching that video. I might even film that shit tonight or tomorrow. But I do need to talk about that shit. It was pretty fire.
Well, Marcus, I just want to say, we're at 3:15 mark. To the crowds on Rockfin, to the viewers on Rockfin, YouTube, and anywhere else you're watching this, as usual, we really appreciate you. We love the community. We like the feedback. We like to interact with all of you.
Yes.
It makes it feel more authentic. Marcus and I ain't really trying. We do what we do, and we're hardworking people. We're firmly middle class, lower middle class, middle class people. We're working class.
Shit, especially Cali. I'm lower middle.
Word. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're working class people. So, that's another reason why we're not all over with a whole bunch of clips and shit like that. We don't just sit home and live on the internet. I do feel
we could. If we
correct.
could, we would.
I feel some of our I don't want to use the word competition, but some of our colleagues, I'll use that. I don't think a lot of them work 9 to 5, in the manner which Marcus and I work, because they have way too much content. I couldn't even produce that much content if I wanted to. I work too goddamn much. You know what I'm saying? I don't have time for it. So, we thank you guys for tuning in, for checking our program out, though. It's very much appreciated. And again, that's not a shot at anybody. I'm just saying that's what Marcus and my reality is. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Cowboys on the road. Okay, I see you, Cowboy. All right. No, you get a chance to listen. Just make sure you careful on that road, though. Please don't have nothing bad happen to you, Cowboy.
Yeah, and definitely prayers and safety with you, because I know your family be worried about you while you're out there. So much love to everybody. Much love to all y'all out there. I mean, we definitely value y'all, especially y'all who make an effort to be here, and interact. We love the interaction, honestly.
Correct. Hey, Ruby, you still in? I think Ruby did Ruby say she was in real estate? Did she say that a long time ago?
I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to ask Ruby next time. She might already dipped out.
Got you. Because, in July, the settlement that the National Association of Realtors, because of that settlement, is going to get real spooky out here for a lot of real estate agents.
She says she was.
The market is extremely slow right now, unless even on the high end of things, it's slowed down. But for the people even trying to buy homes here in Florida within the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 range, that shit is slowed up. But the settlement that they came in, which states that the seller no longer has to pay commission to the buyer's agent, that's going to create a shit ton of problems for a lot of agents.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll touch on that more or further in a future show. But I just wanted to say,
on that you were talking, that remind me, cat that I work with, Ty, he had a situation pop up and he had a different spot. He was looking at a place, rent was $1,500 a month for 1 bedroom, and they was asking him, he needed to pay double deposit, and like the deposit out here is like, I'm used to like, okay, the deposit's roughly about this amount. I didn't realize like the deposit is roughly like close to the same price it's like virtually the same price as the rent. So they basically want my boy to come up with like 4 racks to move in. Mm-hmm. That's not uncommon. 4,000, 5,000 that you need to have in pocket to move into places out here.
It's the same thing down here. They want you to rent places. They want you to make 3 times the rent. 3
Now here they
times.
want 4.
Dog, you can do the math and know that people look, if you're making 3 or 4 times your rent, then you would be able to qualify for a fucking mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this whole credit shit, I can't wait for them to do away with, you know, credit scores and things of that nature, because they're just very discriminatory in nature. And once you understand it, then you're able to just call it for what it is. It's all predatory, discriminatory behavior. Because the person who is able to afford $2,500 a month in rent, who has bad credit, you're telling me a bank would not lend them no money in which they would have to pay them back at $1,400 or $1,500 a month? You would not lend those people any money because their credit is bad. At the same time, reviewing their paperwork and seeing that for 2 years they've been paying $2,000+ in rent and they have not been evicted, but you won't take $1,400 or $1,500 per month from them. The system is just fucked up in many ways.
Yeah,
But anyway,
I mean,
like I said, I don't want to leave it on a terrible note. The weather's nice. You know, I'm about to hit the road now. Listen to this Kendrick Lamar shit because K-Dot is going at the light skin nigga, and I love it.
hey, wait a minute. You supposed to be on that side. You're on the wrong team.
No. That, you know, the light skins look at me like I'm different. The dark skins make fun of me too. So, you know, I'm in the middle. I'm gonna roll with the dark skins for this time.
I'm trying to remember. Oh boy, let's see if I can find him real quick. He was hilarious. He was talking about he did a funny video talking about like he was on Drake's side, on the Drake team. Well, not necessarily on the Drake team. Let me see if I can find the video. But he was like, man, where's that shit at? Let's see, is that it? Oh, there it is. I'm sending this to you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna send this shit to you real quick. Do you want me to send it to you on Instagram or text it to you?
Either or. Instagram is fine.
All right, I'll send it to you on Instagram. That way we can finish it off on the I just sent it. That way we can definitely end out on a good funny note.
You sent it on the gram?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You know about him?
Yes.
Yeah, play
Hold on,
that shit. Play that shit.
Yeah, I'm about to, give me a second. I'm about to hook it up right now.
I figured that's a good funny note to go out on.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Give me 2 seconds.
We started near the beginning of the show talking about the Kendrick and Drake beef, and we're gonna finish it out. Oh, the way they're going, it'll be probably going on next week too.
Mm-hmm.
You better not be asleep. We is under attack. He didn't already responded. 10 minutes. 10 minutes he didn't responded. That shit already mixed, mastered, and ready to go. Where's you at? Damn, we should have been ready for this. Light-skinned niggas, pay attention, because we is under attack. I done called Chris Brown 30 motherfucking times. He ain't answered the phone. I don't know where the fuck he at. Drake, come on to the studio now. God damn. And who in the camp is leaking this information, Drake? Who in the camp is telling shit? How's he finding out this shit? All the dark skins in the camp gotta be sent home right now until we get this shit sorted out. But you need to get in the studio. Damn, 10 minutes later, he had that motherfucker already waiting. He had it waiting. We behind. We got to get ahead of the game, man. We got to get ahead of the game. Light-skinned delegation, listen. It's time to stick together. We're under attack. We're under attack. This is the moment they've been waiting on. They finna try to bully the shit out of us, and we got to stand up. It's our time right now. We got to stand up. All right? As the CEO of the light-skinned delegation, I approve this message. I got to get the phones off the hook down here. Drake, get up. Get up. Frank, you better not be asleep. You better
Oh,
be under attack. He didn't already responded. 10 minutes. 10 minutes he didn't responded. That shit already mixed, mastered, and ready to go. Where's you at?
Yo, Marcus, that is funny as shit, yo.
I figured that would be a
Under
perfect way to end it out.
Ruby,
Oh, but
Ruby,
yeah.
no lie. Ruby, no lie. That's all facts.
And we appreciate you, Laura. Much love over there. And definitely happy Cinco de Mayo to you if you're celebrating it, and to everybody out there. Much love to all our peeps. Especially I'm out here in the definitely heavy. Well, my neighbor's been going wild all weekend. So just know we got love for y'all out here. But on that note, we can end it. Brown skin and darks. We forming a Megatron against the lights.
Yo, but my homeboy used to tell me all the time. Red nigga South. You know, he from the 305. He from Dade, right?
Oh.
That's what they always used to say. So to me, that shit always was funny.
Mm-hmm. And I heard some of the real darks. They was like, we got to worry about you milk chocolate niggas. We don't know if we could trust y'all.
I know. It's crazy. You
I'm
know,
like,
on my mother's side,
leave us milk chocolate alone, okay?
yo, you know what's funny? On my mother's side, I'm amongst the darkest. On my father's side, we like some of the lightest. So it's crazy.
Now, see, I got the blend right in between, like my grandfather and grandpa real dark, grandma real light, and so that's how I ended up like right in the middle. And then half of my cousins and all them, they real light, and then a couple of them are real dark. It's only like a small. It's like 10% of us are like the milk chocolate in the middle.
Facts. You know, if people saw my dad though, they would be like, "Oh, goddamn, your pop's dark, B."
Soul said you're both like I'm it's the lighting, and I can't adjust this light. It's just super bright. But I'm actually darker than Chris.
Yeah, you are not by much, but yeah, you are.
Well, I got a little bit darker. I got a little bit more darker than you.
That's what I say. Yeah. No, I said you are, but you know, look, I haven't been to the beach yet. Don't worry, I'm changing my color.
You're like, I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna catch up.
Oh, I'm gonna not catch up. I'm going to surpass.
Then I'm gonna get out in the sun. I'm gonna be out there like this.
That's me out there.
50 said, get a tan. I'm already black.
Black, rich, I'm already that. Yo, we out of here on that one, man.
All right, on that note, y'all have a good one. Much love to all y'all. For real, much love to all y'all from the bottom
We
of our heart.
appreciate y'all.
All right.
All right, guys.
Peace. And what the street said,